What I'm on here for about is Queen Sheba.
Say that louder now. We don't get to hear it often. Say it louder. I think you are very open-minded about a lot. I think you haven't had an opportunity to experience a conservative relationship. Hold on. And if and when you do, come back and talk to me. Yeah.
What you don't realize is that you don't listen, man.
I don't have to. You're not my daddy. Oh, listen. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Thank you, everybody, for pulling up on this beautiful Thursday. Happy Juneteenth to all of my people that are out there. I hope y'all throwing something on the grill. I hope y'all got a day off. And if not, that's all right. You can throw something on the grill when you get home, but welcome, everybody. Happy Juneteenth, baby. We're about to lay the smack down on this conversation as it relates to Tyler Perry and Derek Dixon. Let's talk about it, y'all. Is this a case of a sugar daddy or a predator? I'm just asking. Drop it in the chat. Are we looking at a sugar daddy, or are we simply, for real, looking at a predator? The Reality Grizzly said, let's get into the psychological and the behavioral traits of the Black experience. For those of you that are new to the channel, welcome to the palace. I am Queen Sheba. I cover a variety of hot topics specific to reality television. Tell them, y'all. But most importantly, I hone in on the psychological and the behavioral traits of the Black experience. Y'all ready to go? Listen, if we hit that super chat goal, I'm going to open the lines and y'all can fire off. I'm going to open the lines. It ain't no right or wrong over here as long as we keep it respectful. Everybody don't have to agree. Attack the talking points and not the person. That's the only thing I ask that you guys stick to. Attack the talking points, attack the argument and not the person that's talking, okay? Listen, so I have a question. Do y'all take, okay, let me see how I want to say it. I'm going to just have to say it because it's no way to clean it up. Is it okay for gay men to sexually harass, flirt with, insinuate that they are interested in a straight man? Are there rules that apply? Should a gay man be held to the same standards that a straight man is held to when it comes to straight men violating a woman's space, her comfort level, and all of that? Should we hold gay men to the same standards, or does it not matter because it's man on man? Y'all ain't ready for that. Y'all ain't ready for that. It's just a question. I just want to know what's in your head. We got predator coming through. A lot of people are saying predator. The Reality Grizzly said two things can be true at once. Maybe he is a sugar daddy. Confessions of a Dinner Girl said this is a sugar daddy shakedown. Miss Curvy said this is a sugar daddy. Can y'all hear me? Tuda saying she can't hear me. Can y'all hear me? Let's do a mic check. 1, 2, 3. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Just give me a 1 if you can hear me. It sounds like everybody can hear me. Okay, y'all are saying, okay. Q Catrice said that a gay man should be held to the same standards as a straight man when it comes to sexual harassment, reports of sexual harassment, and or sexual battery. There's a lot of things in this lawsuit, and we're going to run it down. Mary Willis said this is indeed sexual harassment. Rolinda Rice says the same standards should apply. Grandma 504. Grandma, you wilding out like that? She said she thinks so. All right. Somali Queen says I'm coming in. All right. Oh, y'all are saying this is a predatory act. The Reality Grizzly said yes, loud and clear. It doesn't matter your sexual orientation. Respect is respect, and you should be held to the same standards as a straight man. Okay. Is this a case that you think is going to be complex because of the sexual orientation of Tyler Perry? Do you think people kind of don't really look at men as victims? Do you feel like people make fun of men that come forward and say, hey, bro, he got a little bit too close for comfort. This man was sexually harassing me. Do many of you feel like, oh, you're a man. Hell, you should have walked away. You should have walked away. You could have knuckled up with him. I don't know. Do we have biases and prejudice when it comes to men who are uncomfortable with gay men coming after them, flirting with them, crossing their boundaries? Lies, more lies says, and once he said no, he should have stopped. That's absolutely True. I agree, whether it applies to a male or a female. Now, are y'all under the same belief that if a woman is being sexually harassed at her job, do you believe she should leave? And do you also believe that if a man, in this instance, Derek Dixon, is being harassed at his job, that he should have left and found a different employer? Soul T, that's me, said everyone should be held to the same standards, women or men. We are all still human. But I get that in a perfect world. But is that how we treat it? Let's talk about it. All right, we're about to get into it. Listen, this may be a tough conversation. People over here, we disagree with each other. If you one of them people where you like to get ignorant and you really get your feelings hurt because somebody's disagreeing with you, you may want to tune out, because we disagree over here all the time. But we don't get amped up because somebody's disagreeing with us. It is what it is. Attack the argument, not the person. Here we go. Jacqueline Harrison said, within most lies, there is some truth. All right. Does anybody believe Derek Dixon? Do you believe he was sexually harassed by Tyler Perry? Yes or no? Does anybody believe that Derek Dixon was sexually harassed by Tyler Perry? That's a yes. That's a no. I'll give you a few minutes. To see what y'all talking about. All right, here we go. Oh, we got some no's. Ruby says no, she don't. Tori says no. Darlene says, yeah, he was harassed. Kim says, that's a possible. Oh, Pisces says Derek is a plant that's sent to get Tyler Perry. If that's true, did Tyler Perry give him something to talk about? What if he was a plant? There would have to be some sort of a behavior, right, that we're trying to capture. I don't know. Derek is not straight. K Cool Music said Derek is not. Oh, okay, let's say this. Even if he isn't, does a gay man have the right to choose what man he wants to date, whether he's straight or not? Does Tyler have the right to impose his wants and his needs sexually on a man that may not be straight? I want to see where y'all are. Lula says she's unsure. The Queen Speaks TV said, I believe it's possible. Oh, a lot of you are saying it's kind of 50-50. Many of you are saying, yes, he's a victim. Somali Queen says, no, he's not a victim. All right, we're going to get into it. Here we go. So I'm going to bring up the lawsuit. I'm going to read it. I probably won't display it unless y'all want me to. Do you want me to display it or not? I'll just keep it like this and read it. And then when it comes time to display the text messages, I will. So listen, 6 days ago, a lawsuit was dropped in the Superior Court of California, County of Los Angeles, and Derek Dixon versus Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry Production Services, LLC, and Action LLC, Limited Liability Company. The complaint is quid pro quo, sexual harassment. The second complaint is work environment harassment. The third complaint is sexual harassment. The fourth complaint is workplace gender violence. The fifth complaint is violation of Bain Act. The sixth complaint is sexual battery. Seventh complaint, sexual assault. Eighth complaint, negligent retention. Ninth complaint, intentional infliction of emotional distress. And the 10th complaint is retaliation. Damn. Let me tell you why I say damn. Because at this point, it's called covering CYA, covering your ass. I'm going to get you one way. I'm going to get you, sucker. I'm going to get you one way or the other. If I don't get you on the top 5, I may get you on the lower 5. So according to the complaint, the summary of action, plaintiff Derek Dixon files his complaint against defendant Tyler Perry, alleging as follows. The following complaint is pled on information and belief. This case arises from a sustained pattern of workplace sexual harassment, assault, and retaliation perpetrated by Tyler Perry, a powerful media mogul, against Derek Dixon, a professional actor and screenwriter. Mr. Perry, they list his background and his accolades as an American actor, filmmaker, and playwright who has built one of the most successful careers in the film and television industry. Mr. Perry took his success and power and used his considerable influence in the entertainment industry to create a coercive, sexually exploitative dynamic with Mr. Dixon, initially promising him career advancement and creative opportunities, such as producing his pilot and casting him in his show. Let's pause. Let's pause. I want to give you all time to digest this and just kind of share your thoughts in the chat. The Queen TV Speaks says he doesn't have the right to sexually harass anyone or essay anyone. If he did it to Derek, well, if he did do it, Derek will have an uphill battle because of TP's position and money. Now, the reason why I ask y'all to pause, does this not sound similar to the complaint and the inferences made by Christian Keys? Do you remember when Christian Keys took to his live on Instagram? Let me read it again. Listen very closely. Mr. Perry took his success and power and used his considerable influence in the entertainment industry to create a coercive, sexually exploitative dynamic with Mr. Dixon, initially promising him career advancement and creative opportunities, such as producing his pilot and casting him in his show. All the King's Men, allegedly. Does this sound familiar? Are y'all tracking? Okay. Pink Butterfly said extremely similar. Let's continue. Only to subject him to escalating sexual harassment, assault and battery, and professional retaliation when Mr. Dixon did not reciprocate Mr. Perry's unwanted advances. Does this sound similar to the allegations that Christian Keys made against unnamed individual in the entertainment industry? Remember, he said this person would get into bed with him, unwarranted, escalating the sexual requests, the touching, the rubbing. I'm not saying he did or he didn't. I'm just asking you, does it sound similar? Let's continue. These events occurred while Mr. Dixon was employed as a series regular on the Tyler Perry show, The Oval, and while Mr. Perry held direct control over his employment, compensation, and creative opportunities. Does this sound similar to All the King's Men? I'm just asking. Tyler Perry rose against all odds to become one of the most powerful figures in the entertainment industry. His success story, once a symbol of perseverance and self-made achievement, has now become a cautionary tale of how unchecked power, wealth, and influence can corrupt those who attain it. I want to push back a little bit. When they say this has become a cautionary tale of how unchecked power, wealth, and influence can corrupt those who attain it, I want to go back, and I don't want to make an excuse for Tyler Perry's behavior, R. Kelly's behavior, Shannon Sharp's behavior, Puffy's behavior, or anybody else's behavior, allegedly. But what I do want to say is I'm starting to see a pattern of events that seems to be occurring within this demographic of Black billionaires. Is there a phenomenon of sexual abuse that is happening in our communities with Black boys and nobody's talking about it? Could there be many instances where Black boys are being abused at record levels and we're not talking about it, and neither are they? And the reason why I'm asking you this, I understand. Okay, good point. Hold on. I saw a comment. I want to go to it. Pageant Mama say this is the pattern is that they put themselves in these positions. That's true. But I want to go back. We're starting to see a pattern of behavior. D. Grand say, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Okay. And we're not, remember, we're not making excuses. We're addressing some stuff. I like to make it make sense. Because they said this is a cautionary tale of how unchecked power, wealth, and influence can corrupt those who attain it. I want to add one minute detail. Also, this can be a cautionary tale of how unchecked childhood sexual abuse can corrupt those who attain power and wealth. Because there is a psychological fact, a psychological theory that children, and when I say children, we're talking about boys and girls, little children who are exposed to sexual abuse at a particular age, do you not know if they do not receive psychological intensive intervention that they can and will become predators, and not necessarily sexual predators? They can become financial predators, emotional predators, just predators. I just want to put that out there. Let's continue. Among other contracts, Perry received a lucrative multi-year partnership with the Oprah Winfrey Network, and his net worth tops $1.63 billion. Now, I think that's very important in this lawsuit, because if you go back up, I want to go, one of the violations, it was violation number 5. And it talks about, hold on, negligent, I'm sorry. I want to talk about number 8. It talks about negligent retention. It talks about negligent retention. And he mentioned being that Tyler has a multi-year partnership with OWN Network, and his net worth tops $1.36 billion. Why is this important? Because when you think about negligent retention, it occurs when an employer retains an employee after becoming aware of or having reason to be made aware that the employee poses a risk to others and fails to take appropriate action, such as termination or corrective measures. This can lead to liability for the employer if the employee causes harm. So what he's doing in this lawsuit, or his attorneys are doing in this lawsuit, they're saying own Oprah Winfrey Network. Hey, Oprah, you knew about his behavior. You've been made aware of his behavior. And not just as it relates to Derek Dixon, because this is not his first time, Oprah, but you have failed to take the appropriate action. You have failed to terminate or correct Mr. Perry. And now you hold a liability because the employee continues to cause harm. So that's why I wanted to give y'all a little bit of what that means and why they threw that in the lawsuit, okay? Tyler Perry's rise to fame and fortune elevated him from a powerless victim. Now they're mentioning his past. Remember, I told y'all about it. Elevated him from a powerless victim to a figure of tremendous wealth, influence, and power, culminating in the ownership of his own film studio. So Tyler Perry was also, for those of you that are not privy to his background, Tyler Perry, we're not making excuses, but I like to give you all of the information so that those of you at home can come to your own conclusion. Tyler Perry was also molested and sexually assaulted as a young boy. And I do believe it was by his father, or was he physically beat by his father? Can somebody, there's 2 components of what's going on with him. But I just wanted to give you that background. Was it his father, y'all? Okay, let's continue. Rather than using his influence responsibly, Mr. Perry has engaged in a pattern of misconduct where he exploited his position of power. I'm going to say, I don't know if he's exploiting his position of power. I think he's exploiting his sexual fantasies that were not checked as a little boy, that were not addressed with heavy psychological intervention. Tyler Perry has been using his power and influence to molest, abuse, and sexually assault of impressionable and vulnerable employees and actors who look to him for guidance and mentorship while pursuing their dreams. I don't know if you remember, but a couple of years ago, everybody, well, not everybody, many people in the Black community were celebrating the fact that Tyler Perry placed his studio in like this nucleus, this questionable part of Atlanta, right? Where there's it's kind of considered impoverished. You know, it's just like single women with these kids. And for me, it was a red flag based on the allegations that were being whispered behind him, because I felt like, damn, this is a breeding ground. This is the perfect environment to recruit impressionable young boys who don't have a father in a home and who have no male protection. It's called hidden in plain sight, right? This is what I thought. Don't mean it to be true, but I thought, why would you place a multi-million-dollar studio in the hood? And as I began, remember, it has to make sense to begin to think it through. And I'm like, is there a level of truth to this? Because if what I'm thinking makes sense, shit, you can just pluck them right on out the hood, and nobody will believe them because of all of the generous donations and contributions you've made. But let's continue. Just like Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, Sean P. Oh, they named everybody. Sean P. Diddy Combs, Kevin Spacey, Roger Ailes, and many others in the industry, Mr. Perry's success has led him to believe that money and influence can get him whatever he wants. That belief slowly transformed into the false idea that Mr. Perry can get whomever he wants. Pay attention to whatever and whomever. There are things in life that money cannot buy. So what Mr. Derek is saying, you may have the money, you may have the power, but you don't get my butt unless I am a willing participant. And you cannot finesse, intimidate me, coerce me, harass me, or threaten me with my employment or lack thereof. Let's continue. Mr. Perry sought the one thing his wealth and influence could not purchase, a sexual relationship with a man, and not just a man, a white man, y'all. A white man who would remain silent. Perry told Mr. Dixon that his ideal relationship would involve a male sexual partner who he could provide for and who would be loyal but emotionally detached. Perry told Dixon, whoever, quote unquote, whoever ends up with me is going to be a happy motherfucker. Whoever ends up with me is going to be a happy motherfucker. Take it in. Take it in. And I'm just reading, because I know some of y'all don't like me cursing, but I'm reading straight from the court documents. Now, I want to give you a little bit of psychology just a psychological overview. When he said, that Derek is claiming that Tyler Perry told him that his ideal relationship would involve a male sexual partner who he could provide for. That's why I said sugar daddy or predator, and who would be loyal, but he don't want the emotion. Why is that important for you to remember? Oftentimes when children are sexually assaulted, sexually molested, there is no emotion. There's just the act. So what Tyler is asking for is an exchange similar to what happened to him, but from an adult. But I don't want the emotion. I'm not going to love you. I don't want you to love me. I don't want any of that. I just want your body. I just want your body, like my body was taken from me as a little boy. Does that sound familiar as it relates to the Diddy case, where the women were clamoring for what? Psychological safety by way of emotional exchange. And Diddy did not, according to the lady's testimony, he didn't want that from them. He just wanted the physical exchange. Can I cook? For those of you that are new here, can I cook just a little bit? Let me continue. Transactional, right? Predatory control tactics. Yeah, I don't want to see you as a person because the emotion causes me to see you, to feel you, to know you, to empathize with you. I don't want none of that. All right? Because whoever ends up with me is going to be a happy motherfucker. In essence, Mr. Perry desired a one-sided coercive dynamic with the subordinate, an arrangement devoid of mutual consent or emotional reciprocity. Y'all, I'm finna go. This is the court document. Let me say it again. In essence, Tyler Perry desired a one-sided coercive dynamic with a subordinate, an arrangement devoid of mutual consent. Didn't I just tell y'all he was acting out what happened to him as a child? Did I just not say that he wanted a relationship that happened to him? He wants to mimic it in real life, a dynamic of a power shift, devoid of any emotional or mutual consent or emotional reciprocity, one-sided. I'm in control now. I'm in control. And why does he need to be in control? Because he wasn't in control when he was a little boy. Can I continue? Listen, we ain't making excuses for nobody. But once you have all of the information I can give you, you can go to your page and cook. You can enter these conversations with your friends and cook. He's not bisexual. Real world knows. So basically, he's not bisexual. No. I'm not going to say he's bisexual. I'm going to say he's gay. And that's not a negative. He's gay, but I think he will engage a woman for sexual acts if he needs to. But his primary preference is that of a man, but he needs the man to be in a submissive position, a one-sided relationship where he holds the power. Okay? This was not Mr. Perry's first instance of sexual exploitation. He has demonstrated a troubling pattern of exploiting vulnerable male actors and employees, leveraging his industry power to create a cycle of hope and dependency. First, he offers aspiring actors the prospect of career-defining opportunities, roles that promise visibility and advancement. Then once they are in his professional orbit, the matrix, he uses the weight of his influence to ensnare them, positioning their success as contingent on meeting his demands. And a quid pro quo sexual compromise. This pattern of behavior reveals a calculated use of professional power for sexual leverage. Check this out. If you file a court document, a legal document, you better state the facts. And the reason why I say that, because in the claim, if you go to paragraph number 10, they said this is not Mr. Perry's first instance of sexual exploitation. Now, anything that you enter into the court of law, you need to be able to what? Prove it. So what they're establishing is this isn't the first time he's done this. He's done it before and he's gotten away with it because it seems like most of the men that he's done it with have been vulnerable actors that were just getting their start in the industry. And what he does is he offers them visibility and advancement. See, don't nobody know you. Don't nobody know your name. But I'm going to put you in a position, I'm going to give you a role where you become more visible to the viewing audience. And this could catapult your career. Using his influence, Mr. Perry provided vulnerable men with acting positions. I just said that, roles, show contracts, cars, and money. Once the object of his desire was hooked, Tyler Perry would then put them in fear of losing it all unless they engage in Mr. Perry's perverted desire for sexual gratification. Mr. Perry would easily kill off a character in a show of an actor who failed to indulge in Perry's sexual fantasies. Ooh. Now, is there a level of responsibility and accountability for these men that willingly enter into these relationships that are transactional, where in some instances, Tyler Perry may have started off as a sugar daddy and they knew what time it was and they accepted the exchange. They got the cars, they got the gifts, they got the apartments, the condos, the trips. And then all of a sudden, when he wanted to do a little bit, I just want to get a little bit more freakier. Can we try this time? Can we try that the next time? Now, all of a sudden, they're claiming he's a predator. So I want to give you both sides of the argument. When does consent transition to being a victim? Is it the part where they feel like he's retaliating if they don't want to do a particular act? Tell me, what are your thoughts? And I'll continue. In one such exchange, Perry stated that he could fix things because the actors of a show he was filming should all be scared because they were all shot at, and we don't know who lives. Meaning that Tyler Perry was going to use this as a tool to gain compliance with his desires. So, here's a text message where Tyler sends to Derek, and he says, but I swear to you, I know how to fix this shit. I love killing a motherfucker in a show that no one expects. Derek responds, you could be sipping Mai Tais, counting coconuts right now. Tyler responds, think about the last episode. They are all shot at. We don't know who lives. Derek responds, exactly. I'm scared. They should be too. Nope, they're not. Derek responds, last I checked, we all got the same bullets in us. Okay. I'm just not showing you the page. Do y'all want to see it, or should I just keep going? Y'all are saying y'all can't hear. Let's do a mic check. Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Yes, Pat and Mama said what you just read is an example of quid pro quo, this for that. That's correct. Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Okay, we good to go. Let's continue. Derek Dixon was Perry's sexual desire ever since they became acquainted. Dixon was working as part of the event staff for a party hosted by Mr. Perry when Perry noticed him. So some people will say, hold up, this white boy is lying. You weren't even an actor. You were the help. You were just the help. You know, when you hire people for a huge event and you have the ones that wear the t-shirts, the bright t-shirts, neon t-shirts that say staff, they make maybe $17, $20 an hour. So a lot of people are saying, bro, you came in looking for something. It goes on to say, Perry immediately offered Dixon the chance to audition for a part in one of his TV productions. Dixon agreed and was on set with Perry behind the camera for weeks in close quarters. During the time they were filming, Perry would send flirtatious text messages to Dixon. For example, in one message, Perry stated that he was jealous when he saw Dixon going on a walk with another man named Brad. Tyler Perry texts Derek and he says, why did that photo make me jealous? You two together. Derek responds, haha, I don't know. It's just Brad, LOL. Tyler responds, LOL. Derek responds, he just wanted to go for a quick walk to get his steps in. And now I'm walking to Chipotle by myself, LOL. Tyler responds, thick Derek. Get that Chipotle. Then in another text message, they said, Perry stated to Dixon, what is it going to take for you to have guiltless sex? Have y'all found that yet? Have y'all found that yet in therapy? You could have freedom from religious guilt and still believe in Christ. Let me read the text. Tyler says, what is it going to take for you to have guiltless sex? Have y'all found that out yet in therapy? Yes, it's the exact. And then he says, yes, it's the exact same kind of card. Geo Metro. Derek responds, giving up my religious guilt, becoming a Buddhist, ? That's so cool. Where you came from. Unfortunately, Derek, I have friends who are in their 50s and 60s who are still dealing with that, and it's so sad. You can have freedom from kind of typos in the text message, but it says you can have freedom from religious guilt and still be in Christ. So Tyler is basically saying, listen, we can have boy on boy action. Hell, you don't have to feel guilty about that. And that's a problem, Derek. I have friends that are gay in their 50s and 60s who are still struggling with their desire for men. You don't have to struggle with that. Are you and your therapist talking about that? Have y'all got to the part where you can actually have sex with a man and you don't have to overburden or burden yourself with being guilty? I'm just telling y'all. Why y'all keep saying my sound isn't here? Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Mic check. And we'll go on. Wakuna Baldwin says predator. He was preyed on by his older female neighbors. Oh, okay. As a child. Gotcha. All right. We're good to go. Let's continue. Number 16, it says the plaintiff carefully navigated a friendly demeanor to prevent the loss of income and opportunity on the one hand, and on the other, a firm boundary against Mr. Perry's advances. Often when Mr. Perry started drinking, he would demand more attention from plaintiff and get more aggressive with his flirting. Now, you know what? It came to my brain while I was reading this. Could it be Tyler pressed him so hard because he really had no intention of carrying him along through the show, and he was just trying to see what he can get up front and then cut him? I asked myself that question based on this court document. Number 17, on one occasion when Mr. Perry was drinking, he started to become extremely annoyed when Mr. Dixon avoiding him. Mr. Perry stated that of the 600 people in his phone book, he only wanted to talk to Mr. Dixon. Tyler says, treat myself, right? What are you doing? ? Derek. Listen, I'm not lying. Derek. I swear to God.
Bro, I don't want to talk about it. You just said I'm gonna talk about it. I get angry. Bro, I don't want to.
That's pretty creepy, but let's continue. Derek responds, I'm just talking to my sister. Tyler, I'm going to read all of Tyler's response, back to back to back texts. I roll. Fine, period. Good night. I'll go through the 600 people in my phone book and be annoyed that I don't want to talk to any of them. Derek responds, trying to get off so I can go to sleep, LOL. Tyler responds, I understand, period. LOL. Derek responds, LOL. Apparently you're not the only one that's been drinking tonight. Tyler responds, I just started. Derek responds, they didn't, LOL. Are y'all with me? To you, is this sexual harassment so far that has been established on the part of Tyler Perry? Oh, Lord. All right, let's go to number 18. Dixon did his best to tiptoe around Mr. Perry's sexual aggression while keeping on Mr. Perry's good side. Mr. Perry made it clear to Dixon that if Dixon ignored Perry or failed to engage with the sexual innuendos, Dixon's character would die in the next season. Indeed, Dixon's character, Dale, was shot 4 times in the chest at the end of his first season on the Oval, and Perry always held this over Mr. Dixon's head, implying that Dale would survive if Dixon kept Perry happy. Once Perry recognized the extent of the control he had over Mr. Dixon, he escalated this behavior. On multiple occasions, Mr. Perry sexually assaulted. What? Listen, for the record, I'm just reading this the first time with you. Mr. Perry sexually assaulted Mr. Dixon, including one instance where he forcibly pulled off Mr. Dixon's clothing, groped his buttocks, and attempted to force himself, y'all know what that means, on Mr. Dixon. Mr. Dixon told a drunken Perry no and attempted to remove Mr. Perry's hands, but Mr. Perry held tightly onto Dixon's wrists. Mr. Dixon was only able to escape after de-escalating the situation by abruptly changing the subject. Now, when they... Oh, Lord Jesus. Hold on. Now, if I'm trying to grab your wrist, I'm reading everything. Hold on. I need a break. Y'all know what that means. Forcibly force himself. Whew, hold on. Give me a second. I'm just reading this in real time. Our legacy lecture says, sick bastard. Big Mama said, oh, he did that. Simple yet stylish says, this is blatantly sexual assault. No means no. Yeah, that's what the court document. That's why we reading it together. We reading it together. It's an equal playing field over here. Let me continue, y'all. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I just want everybody to give everybody a break real quick. All right, let me continue. They go on to say, the day after the assault, Mr. Perry called and texted Mr. Dixon relentlessly saying, tried you, call me. And I really need to talk to you. Please call as soon as you can. Finally, when Mr. Dixon answered Tyler Perry's call, Mr. Perry profusely apologized for the sexual assault while blaming it on other things. So listen. It sounds like there may have been a near, if not a small penetration. Let's continue. Near, where you got near, or somewhat almost, okay? Whew, hold on. Perry continued. Okay, Perry profusely apologized for the sexual assault while blaming it on other things. Perry continued. He didn't know why he would do that. Maybe he was self-sabotaging. On the very same call, and they put this in bold letters, on the very same call where he apologized for the sexual assault against Dixon, Perry told Dixon, and don't worry, we're going to do your show, referring to the pilot that Perry knew Mr. Dixon had desperately wanted to produce. Shortly thereafter, Mr. Dixon got a call from Perry's lawyer saying that Christmas, quote unquote, had come early and that Dixon was getting a substantial raise and the show was greenlit. Perry's attorney explicitly warned Dixon not to tell any other actor on the show about Dixon's raise because no other actors were getting a raise, only Dixon. Do you feel like, based on what I just read, Tyler Perry penetrated Derek Dixon? Yes or no? Do you feel like he forced himself in some way on that man? Yes or no? I'm just giving y'all a few seconds. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Real world Mo said he tried to. Yeah. Yeah. B Cousin said yes. Tracy H is saying yes. Our legacy lecturer is saying yep. Anthony said no. Anthony said, I don't think so. Big Mama said, I think he stopped it. Okay. Okay. Crystal says she's not sure. Sunday said, absolutely. Sandra, everybody feel like he definitely tried. Do you feel like there was somewhat of a little tussling going on based on what I read when he said he had to grab his wrist? Okay, the homie is saying that Christian Keys is mentioned in the lawsuit. Let's continue. All right, let's go to number 22. Perry kept telling Dixon that he was sorry and that the harassment would not happen again. However, the harassment and assaults continue. Mr. Perry would also try to deflect the blame for the sexual assault by saying that Dixon didn't have a strong enough no. Let me ask you this. How strong does no have to be? Now, in this world today in 2025, should your no be a no, or do you have to yell it and scream it from the roof to the mountaintops? Perry told Dixon that you have to be able to say no to propositions for sex and mean it and make it clear. And Dixon did not know how to answer without facing retaliation, cancellation of his production, contact, or perhaps being killed off the show. So instead, Dixon made a joke out of the situation, stating that I'll only say yes to sex if it gets me an Oscar. Now, hold up, Derek. Hold up, Derek. Because your no should be a what? No. Does this convolute the case a little bit if a potential victim responds, I'll only say yes if I'm guaranteed an Oscar? The Queen Speaks TV says a soft or hard no means no, but let's continue. So let's examine this text message from Tyler Perry to Derek. Tyler says, nice, period. Santa Monica is nice. I'm glad you're going out there. How is your no? Is it stronger? Question mark. You got to have a strong no. Derek responds, yes. Yes, it's strong, period. My mom literally thinks I'm going to sell my soul to the Illuminati. She heard Kanye say that it's real. Tyler responds, well, I don't think that, but I do think that you have to be able to say no, period, and mean it and make it clear. Derek says, I only say yes if it's going to give me an Oscar. And then Derek follows up, just kidding, exclamation point. I hear you, period. Tyler responds, well, the only one who could have gotten that for you through sex is in prison. So just stick to the no unless you are really into him. Who was he going to see in Santa Monica? And who is he referring to that the only person that can get you an Oscar for sex is in prison? Because I haven't gotten to the bottom of the lawsuit. Who are they talking about? The only one that can get you an Oscar is in prison. And it sounds, does anybody know? I got you. Weinstein. Got you. Okay. Thank you, Obi. Thank you. All right. Let's continue. All right. In response, Tyler Perry stated, okay, we got that. Perry reveals through these text messages that the no he was referring to was Dixon's no to sex in exchange for promotion in the industry, classically known as quid pro quo sexual harassment. Perry sent this message to Dixon because that is exactly what Tyler Perry was doing. At some point, Dixon left Atlanta and moved to Santa Monica to create distance from Tyler Perry. However, even at long distances, Mr. Perry continued to sexually harass Mr. Dixon. Then they moved to the parties, and I'm just going to name them really quickly. Plaintiff, Derek Dixon. Defendant, Tyler Perry. Okay. Defendant, TPS Production Services, LLC. Defendant, An Action, LLC is a limit. Okay. Plaintiff is ignorant of the true names. Okay, we got all of that. That's legal jargon. Plaintiff is informed and believes thereon alleges that each of the fictitiously named defendants is legally responsible in some manner. So what this means, and I know most of you know, but I don't want to assume everybody knows that's tuned in, is Derek is not only suing Tyler Perry as an individual, he's also suing any entity that Tyler Perry owns and or operates. And that's why they call them fictitiously named. Let's continue. All right. Oh, it's just number 33. On information and belief, one or more defendant is the full or partial parent or owner of a wholly or partially owned subsidiary or division of the agent of. Okay, so I told y'all all of that. Let's go down. They're just talking about each defendant, the companies, the operations. We're going to skip through this. Okay, they're getting into the legal jargon of ownership, venue, and they're getting into the legal jargon and the ownership and just kind of citing the different corporations and entities. Okay. Then they go on to the venue and jurisdiction. This court has personal jurisdiction over all defendants because they have purposely availed themselves and are residents of the state and or conduct businesses in California. And this lawsuit arises out of the acts that occurred in California and relates to their contacts with California. Y'all peep the game? Anybody peep the play? Anybody following what's happening here before it happened? Did anybody catch what happened? I'ma see. Derek moved to Santa Monica, California. Crystal, what is happening? No. What's happening is Derek knew he was going to file this lawsuit. That's why he moved to California, to establish it. Run it back. Thank you, Obi. So if you go back to the text message, Derek moved. Now, his claim is he moved. I'm not saying he's lying, but I'm telling you his claim. His claim in this document is I moved to separate, to create distance. At some point, number 20 says Dixon left Atlanta and moved to Santa Monica to create distance from Tyler Perry. Now, this is where I have to call cap because I'm learning this in the Diddy case when they asked Jane Doe, at this point, did you have any intention of filing a lawsuit? No. At this point, were you trying to document so that you can get money? No. At this point, were you documenting so that you can send a demand letter for $260 million? I'm weaving it all in. Derek moved. Yeah, Yvette said this shows he's a smart man. He didn't really move to get away from Tyler. He's established that all of Tyler's entities, his production companies, that Tyler is legally doing business in the state of California. Okay, but headquartered in Georgia. So I'm going to have to sue your black ass from California. Let me pick up my bags and take my ass to Santa Monica. Y'all got it? We got it? All right. I just want that just boom. All right. Mr. Perry also resided in California. Mr. Dixon was a resident of California from January 2023 through the end of the relevant time period, and the sexual assault of harassment of Mr. Perry continued and extended into the relevant time period where Mr. Dixon was a resident of and working from California for Mr. Perry. See, in order to sue him, you got to look at the legalities through California because you might not get nothing in Georgia. I have to establish what? Residency for at least 2 years or longer. It's a cold world out here. Man, I tell you, don't mean that he's not a victim, but it's a cold world. I got to establish residency. Let's take a break real quick and let me get to the super chats and we will pick up in 30 seconds. If you can just give me 30 seconds to read my super chats, that'll give y'all a chance to just woosah. Give me 1 second.
All right, Palace, the Super Chat Squad is in the building. We appreciate you, baby. The Super Chats are fire. Get in your bag.
That's a lot of money.
All right. We thank you, Rosemary Dean. She gifted one Queen Sheba Darling membership. If you just got a notification that you are now a member, thank Rosemary. Lorraine Still, thank you for the 2-piece and the pepper. She said he was not attracted to Tyler. He wanted to work. Listen, I believe you. I believe you because men act on what they want and what they like and what they're attracted to. Samantha Elvey coming through with a 14-piece and a pepper. Y'all going to be mad at me, but Derek played chess and about to be paid. I also think both had a relationship based on those text messages, and there's text messages that are missing. Yvette Greer, thank you for the $5 super sticker. Thank you so much. Let's get back to the documents. Everybody good? All right, here we go. Much of the harm caused by the sexual assaults occurred in California. Buzzwords: establishing residency, environment to substantiate the lawsuit. On information and belief, defendant Tyler Perry has engaged in similar sexual assaults from California. California has a strong interest in allowing its residents to recover for injuries sustained, even if the claim would be time barred in another state. So what they're doing is they're pushing through Georgia just in case the statute of limitations ran out, and they did their research. Alex, fine. Y'all picking up what I'm putting down? They did their research. Listen, you may not get what you need from Georgia. I got to be fair now. I told you I'm a flip both sides of this coin. He had attorneys. He went to... We got to get to California. It's going to be a sacrifice. You're going to have to pick up. You're going to have to move. Don't disconnect from him yet. If we can establish the sexual assault, the abrasive text messages, the request, the intimidation from California, we can tie it there and make it make sense. Because what? The law in California provides specific revival statutes for sexual assault claims, such as California Code Civic Procedure 340.16. California has strong interest in allowing its residents, not visitors, to recover for injuries sustained, even if the claim would be time barred in another state. Brilliant. Brilliant. Derek. Thank you, AJ, for the $5 super sticker. We appreciate you. Do you see the brilliancy in this? Whether it's true or not, do you see the brilliancy in this? Chess, not checkers. I don't know. Our legacy lecture says Derek set Tyler up. You know what? Who knows? I'm just giving you the facts. He gonna get some money one way or another, one way or the other. And in the words of Denzel Washington, I'm leaving here with something. Let's continue. Mr. Dixon was a California resident while performing work from Tyler Perry from January 2023 until his termination, and is currently domiciled in California. And guess what? I need to be in California because the cost of living is what? Higher. A lifestyle I've become accustomed to. Now we talking not even barely 2 years. Boy, these people are playing chess and not checkers. They knew. Listen, get your ass up there to California. First thing, January 2023. And guess what? June 2025. Let's wait. Let's not do it right at the 2-year mark. That'll bring too much suspicion. We can't do it right on your 2-year anniversary. Let's hit his ass in June, right before Juneteenth. Let's put a little pressure on him around that Negro holiday. Hold on. Oh, I make myself laugh. We have a good time over here. Bruh. Hold on. Y'all got to excuse me. I got to have fun with this sometimes. It can get too serious. Sean, thank you for the $2 super chat. So I guess Christian Keys set him up too. I don't know, because you have to do a behavior. There has to be a behavior there. Oh, Negro spirituals. Factual allegations. In or around September 2019, plaintiff worked for an event company called Legendary Events in Atlanta that was hired to organize defendant Perry's studio opening. Plaintiff was recruited by Tony Conway, the owner of Legendary Events, and a close friend of Tyler Perry. Are y'all listening for the enterprise? Close friend of Tyler Perry that does what? The recruiting. Legendary Events. You got to read between the lines. Y'all following me? When we start, because they did mention RICO. There has to be a recruitment. There has to be other individuals involved. Are y'all reading between the lines in this court case? So now we're calling into question Tony Conway, the owner of Legendary Events and a very close friend of Tyler, who hires individuals for these parties. Defendant Perry picked plaintiff out of a crowd of employees present at the party and began asking plaintiff questions about his employment status and whether plaintiff was an actor. Now, here's what it sounds like that's going to be. I can read between the lines real quick. Tyler and his nasty little friends have this recruiting thing where innocent men probably don't know. That's why Tyler picked him out of employees, right? So they're hired under the guise of being staff for these events at these billionaire parties. And Tyler walks up and be like, I want this one. Hey, tell me a little bit about you. What you got going on? It's a very sophisticated operation. Let's go. Ray Charles can see that. Ray Charles can see that. In or around early October and on the last day of the party. How long was the damn party? Defendant Perry insisted that he and plaintiff exchange phone numbers, and Perry subsequently texted plaintiff to introduce himself. Perry began by asking Dixon about his dreams and aspirations. Dixon told Perry that he was interested in acting and writing. Perry then told Dixon to do an audition over the phone and send it to Perry. Dixon told Perry he was at a Halloween party. Perry asked to see pictures of Dixon in costume, and Dixon complied. When Perry saw the pictures, he texted Dixon, I was going to say, your cowboy needs a sugar daddy. Perry continued with, you look great. You're just lacking costume parts. Sorry, don't want to offend. Dixon responded, not at all. It's so true. Half-ass costume. To which Perry replied, what's true? Cowboy needs a sugar daddy? ? Implying that Perry wanted to be Dixon's sugar daddy. Dixon quickly shut down those comments by reiterating what he said earlier, that the truth was that he was lacking costume parts. Shortly thereafter, Dixon's boss, who, remember, John Conway, who's Tyler's what? Close friend, Dixon's boss. So they are tag teaming him 2-on-1, called Dixon and told him that Tyler Perry was having another event in Los Angeles, and specifically wanted Mr. Dixon to fly. Here we go. To fly from Atlanta to Los Angeles to work on the event. Excited for the opportunity to fly to Los Angeles, Dixon was flattered and jumped on the opportunity to meet Tyler Perry again. Shortly after doing the event on November 3rd, 2019, Defendant Perry sent plaintiff several text messages that he would love to find the plaintiff a job and change the plaintiff's life, insisting that they should, quote unquote, make it happen. Perry sent Dixon what turned out to be an ominous warning. Be careful, in bold, hanging around me. ! I cause dreamers to dream bigger. I cause them to not only believe, but do! ! Then let's make it happen. You're an artist. You have to be fulfilled. All bold. Nothing else will suffice. The very next day, Defendant Perry sent an email which contained an offer for the plaintiff to play the role of Dale in Perry's television series Ruthless. Perry said it was a small role that could get a lot bigger, thereby setting up the first stage in a series of escalating quid pro quo offers. Now listen. Y'all must be, look, I don't even look at the chat. Sound like it's going down in the chat. Sugar says, I love the Palace chat. Y'all are hilarious. Okay, let's continue, everybody. I'm going to stick to my duty. The very next day, Defendant Perry sent an email which contained an offer. We got that. No, I know what I want to say. I think it's a small role for a reason. A small role. I'm going to give you just a little bit for your body. I don't really have any intention of keeping you around for a long time. You just a good looking white boy that I want to try. I want to try you, but I don't really want to invest too much into you. I'm going to give you a small role where I can remove you. That's what I think he was doing. Number 59, Dixon filmed his roles in Ruthless in mid-November and went back to his job as an event staff for Legendary Events. See, by that time, Tyler was supposed to have him. You taking too long, Derek. I need you to go back to your $25 an hour job. I don't want you here for a long time. I just need you here for a short time. So I'm going to send you back to that $25 an hour job because, damn, I ain't trying to work that hard. Typically, I would have them by now. Let's continue. Approximately 1 month later, now we're in December, y'all, Perry bought and gave Dixon a new car because he hated Dixon's Jeep. Dixon was surprised and elated. Dixon had no idea that he was going to be set up by Perry for extreme, you see, dependence. What did I just tell you? The lifestyle I've become what? Accustomed to. the lifestyle I've become accustomed to. Obi says the moment that Tyler Perry started referring to Derek as thick, it was the moment TP lost. Let's continue. In December of 2019, Dixon was requested to be a part of the event staff at another event at Perry's home in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Oh, hell no. Hell. Whoa. Do y'all understand what's going on? Damn. Who has a ranch in Wyoming? And it came out in the Diddy case. Wyoming. Who has a ranch? Kanye West. Let me just say allegedly. Kanye West has a ranch in Wyoming. Remember, Jane Doe testified that she got jealous because Diddy took Jesse to Wyoming. At first, I thought Diddy took Jesse to Kanye's place. It could have been a Tyler's place. We don't know whose place. I didn't know Tyler was down there too in Wyoming. Do you understand what's happening? Did I not tell you there's a sex ring and everybody run their shit a little bit different? Everybody recruits a little bit different and everybody tell me you're a conspiracy. No, I know what the hell. Listen, according to all of the testimony, these girls and these guys jump from circle to circle to circle. Jane Doe is high up in the hierarchy because of her performance, right? And then we got the one named Anton that's high up because of his performance. A lot of men in the industry enjoy watching him. Now we just find out Tyler Perry got property up there in Wyoming. Follow me very closely. Remember I said everybody does their freak offs what? Differently. Some are more sophisticated. Some are just more party animals. It sounds like Tyler Perry uses his events to recruit for his freak offs. Let's continue. Hidden in plain sight. Remember, I told y'all now it's something. It's hidden in plain sight. Let's continue. After that event, Perry started frequently sending text messages, making phone calls, and demanding that Dixon give Perry some attention. So at this point, I'm just me thinking out loud. I wonder if Tyler Perry started bragging to the black boule. I got some new booty. I got a white boy that I'm trying to bring into the fold. Number 62, on New Year's Eve, 2019, Tyler Perry texted Dixon, I can't tell you the last time I pumped gas or went to the supermarket or flew commercial or packed a bag or, bold, had good sex. It was before I was rich. You know why? Because you out there taking it. You said you don't want no emotional connection. That's because you not. Let me shut up. Anywho, number 63, Dixon found these messages to be strange and untowardly coming from, maybe I'm saying it wrong, coming from someone like Tyler Perry, but being new to the industry, Dixon played along by downplaying the sexual comments and hoping that being around Perry would allow him to showcase his talents as an actor and writer. At this point, for those of you that are tuned in, would you have left? Would you have left? Or do you feel like he's just getting a lay of the land? You know, hell, he don't know what's going on. Maybe this is industry. I'm gonna keep my innocence. Would you have left, or should he have left? That's the question. Untoward. I'll practice it when I get offline. Okay, let me continue. Untowardly. Okay. Soon after Dixon began giving Perry more attention, Perry made his move on Dixon in January of 2020, just a few months after his first acting gig. November, December, January. Tyler Perry wasn't having it. 2 months later, he's like, come on now. I was supposed to have that. 2 months, y'all, 60 days. Just a few months after his first acting gig, Perry invited plaintiff to his home in Douglasville County, Georgia. Plaintiff showed up to the home hoping that he would be given a chance to befriend Perry and show him how talented an actor Dixon was. At Perry's home, Dixon was served many alcoholic drinks, which Perry also partook in. Dixon felt that Perry was genuinely interested in Dixon's talents as an actor and writer. Perry made no sexual advances at Dixon while they were drinking, and the conversation was friendly. At the end of the night, Perry told Dixon not to drive home. Does this sound familiar? Christian Keys, remember? He was served drinks. He didn't say names, and that person insisted, don't drink and what? Drive. I have a bedroom. Let's get to what he told him. Dixon agreed and was escorted to a separate guest room, not knowing that this was a ruse to allow Perry to assault Dixon. Dixon was tired and did not have pajamas, so he got into the bed only wearing underwear. Is this not what Christian Keys said happened to him? Too much to drink. The host, the guest of the home, insinuated, no, I have an extra room. Don't worry about it. He woke up in the middle of the night with this man in bed with him. Let's continue. Before he knew what was happening, Dixon felt someone else slip into the bed behind him and start rubbing his body and his inner thigh in a highly sexual and suggestive manner. Dixon turned around and saw that Tyler Perry was in bed with him. I'm finna go.
Oh, my God.
Oh, Lord. Let's continue. At this point, Dixon's stomach started to turn and he began to feel nauseous. Instinctively, Dixon jumped out of bed and told Tyler Perry that he wasn't that sexual. Tyler Perry ignored the comments and told Dixon to turn around so Perry could see him naked in his underwear. Perry then commented on how beautiful Dixon's body was. Dixon once again told Perry he was not into sex. Dixon kept informing Perry that he was not into sex in order to keep Perry at bay, while at the same time not insulting the person who was dangling his career in front of him. In response to Dixon's frequent assertions that Dixon was not into sex, Perry started prying further. Perry would send Dixon a text saying, I would hope that you would let someone hold you and make love to you. You are missing the best years of your life, my friend. Trust me. I hope you get past that block in your mind soon. Y'all, they don't pay me enough. They don't pay me enough around here. Let's continue. Perry was implying that Dixon would hopefully get past the block in his mind and will let Tyler Perry make love to him. Dixon responded in a text, well, it's not this person, but yes, I want that too. I'm working on it. Therapy is helping. After the assault in January, Dixon felt betrayed. Perry continued to call, text Dixon every day asking him to talk more. Dixon ignored Perry, which led Perry to text him, Derek, why don't you text me more? The more Dixon ignored Perry, the more aggressive Perry became until finally Perry offered Dixon a part in a show called The Oval. Dixon was intrigued and was hoping that this would be the big break that he was looking for and a chance for him to display his acting talent. On February 11, 2020, Perry told Dixon to quit his job at Legendary Events and come to work exclusively for Tyler Perry. Perry was not able to control Dixon so long as Dixon had secondary income that was providing for his basic needs. Once Dixon quit his job due to his role on The Oval, Perry started getting more and more personal with Dixon, knowing that Dixon was now under his control. Perry would often say things like, I give and give and give and give, and no one ever does anything for me in return. No one ever gives me what I want or what I need, implying that Dixon was not giving him sex. Perry started asking Dixon about Dixon's sexual preferences and what role Dixon took on when engaging in sex acts, i.e., whether he was a top or a bottom, which sexual terms means whether Dixon preferred to give or receive anal sex. Perry further indicated to Dixon that he had had sex with men before and that he, quote unquote, was a top. Perry further told Dixon that when you have a big dick and when you hit that G-spot right on these bottoms, they go crazy. Are y'all still there? Y'all all right? I just want to check on my people. All right. I want to check on everybody. Thank you, HJ, for the $5 super sticker. Thank you, Sean, for the $2 super chat. She says, so I guess Christian Keys set him up too. Listen, it's a lot going on. Sean came back with a 2-piece and a pepper, says, so now it's a RICO. It's getting good. Let's continue. The innocent instigator came in with a 5-piece, says, this is what happens when you keep thinking with the wrong head. We say a lack of what over here? You already know. Let's go. Perry further told the plaintiff that he wanted a man who was in a relationship with another individual. Oh, but with whom he could be emotionally involved and engage in sex with, like a friend with benefits relationship, because Perry did not have time to deal with the emotional aspect of a relationship, only the physical. I told y'all that. I broke it down for you. So Tyler Perry is saying, listen, go find somebody else. Go find somebody else to love you. That's not what I'm here for you. I want your body. And when I'm done with you, you can go back home to whomever. Despite these comments, Dixon knew that a full-throated refusal would land him in a doghouse and might result in his role being cut on the Oval. Fearing that his career would end before it began, Dixon put up with these comments and continued to maintain that he was not the sexual type. So it sounds like Dixon was like basically saying, I am celibate or I'm asexual. I have a question for those of you that did watch the Oval. Was Derek Dixon a hell of an actor? It doesn't matter. I just want to know because I didn't watch it. Thank you, Mary Willis. She says, you on fire. I try to be. Welcome, welcome for those of you that are new here. Yes, full-throated. Danny says, not full-throated, child. That's what he said. That's what they said in this lawsuit. Let's continue. But was he good on the Oval? Oh, Samantha said no. Oh, okay. DEI sounds like. All right. Dixon's character was written as a gay, homeless, and desperate store clerk who had to sleep with one of the other characters for a place to stay. More importantly, at the end of the season, his character would be shot 4 times in the chest. Dixon felt that this was a way for Perry to test Dixon out for a year to see if he would be loyal to Perry. No, Tyler actually wrote your real life. Do y'all not see that? Do you see what Tyler Perry did? Tyler, you kind of sick. It's kind of weird. Okay, the homie said he was a horrible actor. I need one too. Shit, I'm going to have me one after this. Cheryl Bryan said, I need a drink. Me too. I'm going to have to go get me a mimosa after this. Listen, do y'all see? I don't know, Sugar exposing pimping in the black entertainment industry. Woo! Watch this, though. Yeah, he was doing it in a nice way. More show said he was basically saying he's not attracted. In a very nice way. Miss Mercedes, thank you for the $10 super sticker. She says, Queen, thank you. No, thank you. Okay, do y'all understand what Tyler Perry did? He actually wrote his real life. Dixon's character was written as a gay, homeless, and desperate store clerk who had to sleep with one of the other characters for a place to stay. More importantly, at the end of the season, blah, 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 blah. Number 83, when Dixon asked Perry about the shooting, Perry indicated that if Dixon did a quote-unquote good job, Dixon would be back, and that a shooting didn't necessarily mean that Dixon's character was out of the script for future seasons. Perry commented that Dixon's character was only shot in the chest, not in the head. Now, Tyler, you know damn well you had no intention of bringing him back. You just wanted his body, and he was just taking too long. Number 84, Dixon immediately understood that his job security depended on his relationship with Perry. From this point on, Dixon worked with the constant fear of losing his job if he did not engage with and endure Perry's sexual harassment. Shortly after giving Dixon this news and after telling Dixon that the future seasons were dependent on Dixon doing a quote-unquote good job, Tyler Perry invited Dixon to his home. This is the second time in Atlanta. So the first home was somewhere in Georgia. Now he's inviting him to a different home in Atlanta. Plaintiff asked questions and tried to wiggle his way out of the invitation because he remembered what happened the last time the two were alone. However, plaintiff knew that his job security, income, and livelihood depended on his attendance. Plaintiff had seen other employees of Perry's who had experienced sudden deaths on the show when they fell on Perry's bad side. Now, if you keep in mind, when Tyler Perry got out of line with this man the first time, Tyler's attorney called him and said, Christmas have come early. You're going to get a raise. Don't discuss it with the other employees on the show. It seems like Tyler had a slew of young actors around him that he could just pick and choose to have his way with as he pleased. And for the men that stood on business that say, no, hold up, homie, their characters, it appears, according to the court documents, were killed off. In fact, Perry had made it clear to Dixon that he would often kill characters in order to get an actor to be loyal or obedient. When Dixon arrived at the house, Tyler Perry gave Dixon a warm welcome and was very friendly. Soon after, Tyler Perry started asking Dixon a slew of sexually charged questions, even asking if Dixon liked it rough in bed. Perry then physically reached out and violently grabbed Dixon's throat, attempting to physically choke Dixon, and remarked, "Wow, look how excited you just got. You do like that." Dixon was horrified, shocked, and in a panic. Dixon never thought that Tyler Perry could get so violent and would place his hands on Dixon's throat in a sexually aggressive manner. Dixon did not enjoy or consent to any of this conduct. Dixon was in shock and took steps to immediately de-escalate the situation. Due to the onset of COVID-19 pandemic in March 2020, filming for The Oval was postponed indefinitely. During the period in which the filming for The Oval was postponed, Tyler Perry would make FaceTime calls and other contacts to Dixon almost every day, treating Dixon as his own on-call pet. Dixon felt obligated to answer for fear of losing his role, income, and career. Perry often asked about Dixon, about his whereabouts, often demanding that Dixon respond immediately. When he didn't, Perry would send text messages to Dixon stating, "Derek," look, I can't even make the sound, you know, like a growling, like I don't know how to do it, something like that, whatever. I sound horrible trying to do it, but Derek, and what are you doing? Additionally, Perry was jealous of anyone who Dixon had a relationship with. Tyler Perry told Dixon that if Dixon got COVID-19 from his roommate at the time, Dixon would not be able to shoot The Oval. Perry encouraged Dixon to move into one of the on-set studio houses owned by Perry, where Perry would have more control over Dixon's whereabouts. You know what I think? I think those houses may have surveillance where he can look at you. Okay? Where he can get off one way or the other. I think it's control, but I also think surveillance. Okay? Therefore, Perry would text plaintiff about other actors on his show, Ruthless. Perry told Dixon how he manipulated employees through ruthless retaliation. Perry told Dixon that if he did not like the way an actor behaved or the way the actor was acting, the character would simply die in season 2. Run down a list of who died in Tyler Perry movies, y'all. Yeah, voyeurism. Yeah, I want you here so I can watch you. I'm going to see your booty one way or the other, but let me continue. Dixon understood that Perry was informing Dixon to be cautious about disappointing or upsetting Perry. As a result, Dixon continued to put up with Perry's suggestive messages and sexual advances while doing his best to protect himself by taking notes, documentation, and amassing evidence of the sexual harassment and keeping old text messages. So it sounds like in 2020, watch this, because he didn't move to California until when? 2023. So for 3 years, in April of 2020, he decided for the next 3 years, I'm going to keep notes on you. In one conversation in or around April of 2020, Perry told Dixon that Perry imagined Dixon prancing around in a cowboy outfit. Why is cowboy important here? Do y'all not see the similarities between this and the Diddy case? Where would Diddy get most of his escorts from? A place called Cowboys and what? Angels. Where did Diddy take Jesse? Wyoming. There are some small similarities, and I do believe there's some things about these black boulets that are hidden in plain sight. I'm picking up the similarities. Cowboys and angels. That's right. Let's continue. And that Perry did things to Dixon that he couldn't talk with Dixon about any further because they were so wrong. And in or around April of 2020, and while Dixon was living in the studio, homes on set, Perry often coerced Dixon to drink alcohol and then get on the phone with Perry. Perry would frequently have someone drop off alcohol at Dixon's door. Perry would eventually turn those phone calls into sexually explicit rants. Perry would get frustrated with Dixon and tell Dixon that he was not giving Perry what he needs. Dixon's refusal to succumb to Perry's sexual advances caused Perry to be even more frustrated. Eventually, Perry warned Dixon that if Dixon told his castmates about the harassment, Dixon would be opening himself up to lots of questions and foolishness, and demanded that Dixon not discuss any of their conversations with his castmates. Now, you see the introduction of substances. Similarities. Let's continue. Perry upped the stakes by telling Dixon point blank that he was not to tell anyone about their quote unquote friendship. Perry told Dixon that it should all remain a secret and tried to make it seem like this secret was for Dixon's benefit. Perry continued to sexually harass Dixon. On June 27, 2020, defendant Perry texted Dixon all that he wanted for his birthday were biscuits and BJs, referring to blowjobs, oral sex. But all that Perry ever received were biscuits, insinuating a request for oral sex from Dixon. This text was followed by other messages calling Dixon cute, cutie, and that Perry was just thinking about Dixon. Okay, there's a text message here. Tyler Perry says, listen to me. If you let the cast know that you and I have a new friendship, then you're opening yourself up to a lot of questions and foolishness. You want them to know that you are there because of your talent and not because we have a friendship or because Tony got me to give you a job. You earned your spot like everybody else. Don't give people an opportunity to play you small, or they will. I can't teach you everything. Unfortunately, there are some things you'll have to learn for yourself. Because when we go back to work, I'm not going to know you. I don't have any friends that work for me, my friend. Professionalism is key. Derek responds, you're totally right. Tyler says, I hope you got it. I hope you got it, my friend. Derek responds, that makes total sense. Tyler responds, just watch the behavior of everyone else around me on set. Derek says, yeah, I will. Don't want to give anyone that opportunity because work is work. Now, here's the thing. I told you they were recruiting Tony Conway, bringing them in. And it sounds like Tyler didn't want Derek to talk about it because some of them other boys would get mad. That's all I'm saying. Sounds like he has several sexual relationships. And the reason why he wanted Derek so bad is because Derek was saying no. Despite these advances, Dixon continued to act professionally and continued to tell Perry he was not sexual. That seemed to be the only way of keeping Perry at bay while keeping his job. In July of 2020, Perry remarked about how much he loved the script for Dixon's television series called Losing It and exclaimed that he wanted to shoot the pilot for it. Perry would never really work toward that goal, and what Perry was really doing was making Mr. Dixon more dependent on Perry so that Perry could later extract sexual favors from Dixon as quid pro quo to produce the pilot. In the same year, around August 2020, Dixon and his castmates began shooting for the Oval after delays due to COVID, during which time all castmates and crew lived on the studio set in a quarantine bubble. So do y'all understand what's happening here in studios on set? Bunny Ranch, Las Vegas. Do y'all understand Cowboys and Angels? What's happening here in plain sight? Didn't I tell you we should be concerned about him plucking and plopping that in the nucleus of a Black community? That's all. That's all I'm saying. Let's continue. Shortly after, Perry confided in Dixon that two cast members were pissing him off and that Perry swore that he knew how to fix this shit. Perry added that he loves killing a motherfucker in the show that no one expects, that he was going to shoot them all and kill them mofos, referring to killing off characters in the Oval played by actors who Perry wanted to retaliate against. Do y'all catch what's happening? When Dixon said that Perry told him that there were two cast members that were pissing him off and that Perry swore that he knew how to fix this shit, he was talking about Dixon, which is why Dixon's character was shot 4 times in the chest. This is very sinister. He's talking to Dixon about Dixon. Okay, y'all say y'all get it. All right. Ugh. More importantly, Perry stated in one text, I may need to shoot the shoot out early, which Dixon understood to mean that unless the actors knew they were going to die, that their time on the show was over, they wouldn't change their ways. Perry was going to film the shoot out early so that the actors would be more submissive to Perry's request. Perry intentionally made these comments to instill fear in Dixon. Mr. Dixon now knew that he too would lose his job if Dixon did not play ball with Perry's sexual harassment. This is what Perry had been setting up. Dixon was now fully reliant on Perry for his income hope, and future aspirations. Perry made it clear that Dixon was not to disclose the relationship to anyone else, and Dixon was aware that Tyler Perry will kill him off the show for good, thereby ending his career if Dixon got on Perry's bad side. To top it all off, according to this lawsuit, Dixon already knew that his character was shot 4 times at the end of the seasons, but that shots might not be fatal. In July of 2020, Perry read the script of Dixon's pilot and told Dixon that he loved the show so much he wanted to shoot the pilot for it. Dixon did not know that Perry never intended on shooting the show. That's common sense to me. He just wanted to sleep with you. Perry knew that he could use the motivation of shooting Mr. Dixon's pilot to get Dixon to do what he had been resisting to do for many months, which was to give Perry the sexual gratification Perry so craved. All right. Let me see if I can peruse through some of this. We're actually halfway through. I'm not sure if I'm going to read all of this. Once the stage was set, Perry knew he could get away with sexual harassment. During the filming of The Oval in 2020, Perry engaged in a severe and pervasive tirade of sexual commentary, including but not limited to that Dixon liked being choked. Why do you twist your hips when you walk? How can I get a day off? How can I get a day of Dixon? When will you be thick again? I love how I feel right now, but I don't like being horny. I feel sorry for the first person who flirts with me. I've been trying to put that energy somewhere else, but everything is so sexual on this stuff. That snake across the table made me think of photo. Ooh, Nicki Minaj caught a shot. He said that snake across the table made me think of the photo of Nicki Minaj from the music video for her song Anaconda, in which she references intercourse with a male genitalia symbolized by a snake. I will gladly choke you right now. A suggestion that Dixon should get braces behind his teeth, Tyler, but the plaintiff would have to give up BJs, that it could be dangerous for Dixon's partner, especially if they're not circumcised. I'm just reading all of the sexual stuff. That's when you were thick, Derek, fun, Derek, drunk, Derek, before COVID, Derek. I miss him, just without a butt. And thick Derek would have worked them pants out. Ciao. Perry also photographed Derek's buttocks while on set, sending the pictures to Derek. 2 text messages of many show that Perry was jealous of seeing Dixon with other men. Perry describes Dixon as so beautiful. Why did that photo make me jealous? You two together. And that's where he was taking a walk with Brad. And then Tyler says, I feel so sorry for the person that you choose. Derek responds, and I won't even take aspirin from someone anymore. Haha, I would cry if that wasn't so funny. Why? What I mean, this is Tyler Perry. What I mean by that is that you're so beautiful. When you finally are able to unlock your mind, you're going to make that person crazy. Anywho, they go on and back and forth. His lawyers is highlighting more text messages and more text messages and more text messages. Let me see. Okay, this is one that seems like. After enduring the harassment and doing his best to dodge the situation, Mr. Dixon got up. Oh, whoa. Hold on, I missed something. Okay. On the second to the last day of shooting for The Oval, Dixon filmed the episode where his character was shot 4 times, indicating a seeming end to his role on the show and his termination from the job. It was precisely following this day of filming when Tyler Perry knew that Dixon's character's fate was to be decided that Perry invited Dixon to his trailer for drinks. Dixon knew that refusing meant that this could be the end of his career, so he accepted. 117 paragraph. It was there on the very same day that Tyler dialed up the harassment to a new level. Tyler Perry asked Derek Dixon point blank, "Are you attracted to me?" and demanded that Dixon answer. Plaintiff reiterated the same way he did after the first assault by skirting the question. Dixon told Perry that Dixon wasn't that sexual or looking for anything. Perry's insistent probing did not stop. Perry continued to talk about how good-looking and sexy Dixon was, and that the plaintiff was wasting his looks by not being free and having sex. Dixon repeatedly deflected these comments with neutral answers, constantly looking for ways to avoid Tyler Perry's sexual interrogation. While continuing to worry about his future on the Oval, Mr. Perry was testing how far he could go with Dixon. After enduring the harassment and doing his best to dodge the situation, Mr. Dixon got up and the two exchanged goodbyes. As Dixon was leaving Perry's trailer, Perry got up and pinned Dixon against the wall. Perry began aggressively groping Dixon's buttocks in a sexual manner. Perry began reaching down towards Dixon's buttocks and groped Dixon's butt in a strong and sexual manner that could not have been a mere accident. Dixon stood frozen in horror and could not reciprocate or fight back. All Dixon could do was let his body go cold and limp. Seeing that Dixon had no desire in Perry told Dixon that he was drunk and asked Dixon to leave the trailer. As soon as Derek left the trailer following Perry's violent assault, Dixon became severely nauseous and extremely anxious about his job, career, and livelihood. Dixon felt trapped within the confines of the studio's quarantine bubble. There was still another shoot the next day. Dixon called his friend, Justin Bryan, on the phone and told him everything that happened and was unaware of any human resources representatives to whom he could report the assault. Plaintiff had no one to turn to and nowhere to go to save him from Perry's aggressive sexual harassment and exploitation. The next day, Perry acted like nothing happened, and this time he did not even offer Mr. Dixon an apology. Following this exchange, Dixon began to avoid Perry as much as possible. However, he still felt the need to answer Perry's incessant text messages, so he changed his approach. Dixon often pretended to be asleep or to avoid being harassed by Tyler. Perry persisted by texting Dixon the following messages. Are you awake? B, stop ignoring me. C, you are awake, Derek. D, wake up. I know you're not sleeping. And E, give me attention. Y'all good? Damn, are y'all good? Let's continue. In or around early October 2020, Perry invited Dixon and other actors from the Oval on a cast trip to Perry's personal island in the Bahamas. Dixon knew, as everyone else on the show, that declining to go on this trip might cause Perry to erase you from the show. Dixon agreed to go, knowing that the whole cast was going to be there one night while in Perry's private island in the Bahamas. Remember, Jane Doe said she got to go to an island in Bahamas. So now we got Wyoming, we have the Bahamas. Let's continue. The cast was having a party. At the end of the night, Perry told Dixon that he wanted to talk to him. Dixon was caught off guard. Perry made alcoholic drinks and forced Dixon to drink with him. Dixon knew that he could not refuse the drinks, otherwise he would risk upsetting Mr. Perry. Instead, Dixon tried to stay in control and sipped his drinks very slowly. Tyler Perry did not control himself. He drank until it was clear that the alcohol had made him bold and sexually aggressive. If I have to go back and kind of insert my psychological experience, I'm going to say when Tyler Perry, child, is there a possibility that when Tyler Perry was molested, whomever the perpetrator was would do it while he was drunk? That's just a question mark. That's just a question mark. Tyler Perry drank until it was clear that the alcohol had made him bold and sexually aggressive. Tyler Perry told Dixon that he wanted a relationship with someone who could be emotionally and sexually available to him, but would also be permissive of Perry having his own relationship with someone else. Do you see the change, the shift in the strategy? At first, Tyler Perry was saying, I don't want emotions. I don't want nothing. Now he's trying a different approach, saying, I do want emotions, but I also want to be free. Perry said he could see himself having that type of relationship with Derek. Perry insisted that Dixon needed to be with someone rich because Dixon liked nice things. Perry told Dixon that he was watching all the cast as they laid out in the sun with tanning oil. Perry continued raving about how seeing Dixon greased up like that, quote unquote, was driving him crazy. Tyler Perry said he would have burnt the whole island down if one of the other actors or anyone else from that group had touched Dixon that night. At that point, he once again aggressively seized Dixon and groped his buttocks. Dixon once again did not reciprocate and froze up. Perry got the message and told Dixon to go to bed. Dixon was terrified and could barely sleep. From that moment on, Perry became extremely frustrated and possessive. Perry wanted desperately for Dixon to be attracted to him, but Dixon was not. In one exchange, Perry sent pictures of himself from the Bahamas to Dixon. Dixon responded that the water looked nice. Perry got upset that Dixon did not see the stud in the picture and instead focused on the water. Perry called Dixon an asshole for laughing out loud at Perry's desire for Dixon to call him a stud. On or about October 18, 2020, following Dixon's return from the Bahamas, Tyler Perry told Derek that he was jealous that Dixon was giving too much attention to the other men. Y'all get this? All male trip. All male trip. See, I'm going to be messy. That's why I be looking at men sideways that go off on trips together. But let me continue. Tyler texted him, I'm jealous because you giving the other boys too much attention. Perry stated that Dixon was being too much of a social butterfly and that he needs Dixon to sit still this week. Perry continued to wield his position as Dixon's boss, demanding sexual attention in exchange for his continued employment. My question is, did they sleep together? Did Tyler have his way? Because they're not really being straightforward about it in these court documents. His island is in the Bahamas. Diddy has an island too called Love Island. But let's continue. These text messages were followed by others to Dixon like, Derek, don't you dare ignore me. Derek, I deserve better. I deserve attention all this time. Dixon, out of fear for the unknown future of his career, continued to give Perry the social attention he demanded, even though Dixon would constantly get sexually harassed. On several occasions, Tyler Perry would text Dixon while drunk. In one exchange, Tyler Perry told Dixon, you know what I cook? You know what I cook, Derek? And then proceeds to say, I'm so drunk, talking shit. Derek responds, spaghetti, cake. Tyler responds, you. I'm so drunk. In December 2020, Dixon began feeling depleted due to Perry's continued pattern of sexual harassment. The assaults and harassment began manifesting in his physical health. And Mr. Dixon, because you remember California, if you file a lawsuit in California, it will pay you for your what? Your injuries. I'm just giving you all of the information. We covered that in page like 3 or 4, okay? Mr. Dixon had no one to turn to. He visited a physician who indicated that Dixon exhibited severe symptoms of acute stress, insomnia, stomach issue, and dangerously low cortisol levels due to the sexual harassment and assault. What's happening now? This is a part of the documentation, not only the diary notes, but now clinical documentation. The physician prescribed Zoloft, an antidepressant, for Derek's ailments. Now we establish you've caused me what? An ailment. The sexual harassment continued through the beginning of 2021. Perry continued sending Dixon unsolicited photos of Dixon's body. Ooh. Yeah, he gonna get some money. If you were sending him, and they can prove it, if you were sending him photos of his own body from the set of The Oval with comments such as, oh my God, look at that. Look at you, Derek. Thick. B, no, the weight difference. I can see it. C, thick Derek. Okay, good. D, nope, I can't deal with thick Derek. LOL. E, what's it going to take for you to have guiltless sex? Have you found that out yet in therapy? F, what's your waist? I'm so glad Derek is back, is with us. There's typos. I'm so glad Derek is back with us. G, break out an ass and thighs. H, you home? I don't want you out with your friends drinking. I, you are the rose, but you are so blocked that you refuse to be smelt or opened. J, when you finally are able to unlock your mind, you are going to make that person crazy in a good way. K, have you been intimate with someone? L, why did that photo of you and Brad make me jealous? You two together. M, thick Derek, get that Chipotle. No, I can't. Only from your jeans. N, Derek is there. to make men swoon. Oh, what I mean by that is that you're so beautiful. When you finally are able to unlock your mind, you're going to make that person crazy in a good way. Derek responded, as long as my face doesn't get messed up, as long as it doesn't leave a mark. And Tyler responded, what will leave a mark, Derek? Say it. On your neck? What do you mean you haven't? You've been intimate with someone? I can't get the phone call from you when you tell me you let go and you loved every minute of it. What? I can't wait to get that phone call from you. I'm sorry. When you tell me you let go and you loved every minute of it. Q, no straight man would be going on walks with you, cooking dinner for you, unless they wanted to fuck you. I would fuck you. R, what are you doing hanging out with that girlfriend of yours? She wants you too. Everybody wants to fuck Jacob. Child, Tyler Perry. Listen, give me a second. Ooh, child, hold on. Let me come to the chat. Because at this point, Tyler Perry wearing me out. Shit, I might have depression. Let me see what I can get. I might have to move to California. Oh my God. Everybody all right? I just need to take a breather and we're going to get back to it. I might need, look, okay, so I think we've done enough. We're on page, there's 20 more pages. I think we're good. Y'all think we're good? I think we are. I think we get the gist and the gist of the conversation. I think there's definitely a lot of supporting evidence here. What are your thoughts? Traveling Gmo said, can I file a lawsuit for distress? Why is Tyler Perry texting him? He can buy a maintenance man. He don't want it. It seems like, Darlene, that they get into these where they've had everything. They've had everything. If you think about Shannon Sharp, I did a great breakdown of Shannon Sharp. You had a white woman. Younger than you, Michelle, that would do anything. Didn't even want no money. Let you do all kind of stuff to her. They get to a point where they get used to it, that nothing is appeasing anymore. So they have to have something that says no. That's it. They hate rejection, but they also like something fresh and new. They've tried everything. Women, men, they've tried everything. And I believe they get to a point where they start chasing the high of when they first encountered the weird act or the different act, and they're trying to recreate, in my opinion, that moment. It's no different than a person that continues to do drugs because we say they're chasing a high. Okay, Simone Wealthy says it's about control. Thank you, Sherry. Sherry says they like to chase the high. Sheba Baby Talk says they have tried everything. That's so true. They have. And then the ones that are really dark, that's when you start to hear rumors of children, right? In situations where you're like, oh, okay, now it says, Rosa said, oh my God, this is lit. Let me see if there's anything of importance here, because I don't want to just be reading this stuff. And let me see. We're on page 30. Let me see if there's anything else that stands out. We almost completed that entire document. So thank you, everybody. It's 46 pages. Yes, they do turn to kids. Some of them. I ain't going to say all. I don't want to, loop everybody. Yep. Ooh, Rashawn. Let me see what Rashawn is saying. Rashawn says, Joyo, you were talking. Oh, okay. Y'all going back and forth. Okay, I got it in the chat. Y'all are going. Oh, I don't know what I think y'all are arguing. That's why they go to foreign places to add the minors in some situations. Especially if you start to see them go into Thailand and places like that. Yep. I'm just saying. So let's go ahead and see if there's anything that stands out that should, that's worth reading. Oh, wait a minute. Oh yeah, I just found something. Hold on. There's another one. Tyler Perry, damn. What's his sign? Is he a Gemini? I'm not blaming that on Geminis, but I'm just saying he's persistent like a mother. All right. After several weeks of unreciprocated sexual innuendos and demands for attention, Perry lashed out at Dixon on set and asked if he needed to punch Dixon in the stomach for Dixon to act away Perry envisioned in the scene. This exchange was highly tense, and Perry's reaction stunned several cast members. Actors on set consoled Dixon for the abrasive interaction, confused as to why Perry overreacted in such a manner. But Dixon knew that Perry was lashing out due to his frustration at the lack of attention Dixon was giving him. On or around June 4th, 2021, Perry invited Dixon to his house to spend some time together and discuss the pilot of Losing It. This is Derek's pilot, remember? Although Dixon hesitated, he feared the consequences of disappointing Tyler and believed once Losing It was a big show, he would be freed from under the clutches of Perry. During this visit, Perry made several alcoholic beverages for himself and demanded to know why Dixon was not having sex with anyone. Perry probed further about Dixon's sex life, insisting that the two were becoming increasingly drunk and it was time to end the night. Perry then led Dixon to a guest house where a guest bedroom was. Dixon would be staying there that night. Inside the guest bedroom, Perry motioned to Dixon to come see a weight monitor that he had. Perry told Dixon that for the monitor to work, Dixon would need to step on the monitor wearing only his underwear and push Derek to try it out. Dixon tried to avoid the uncomfortable situation, but decided it was better to comply and hurry to bed than to wait for the alternative at that point. After weighing himself, Dixon walked toward the guest bedroom, followed by Perry, who then asked Dixon for a goodnight hug. Rather than arguing, Dixon complied, at which point Perry reached out and yanked Dixon's underwear down from behind. Perry then began to vigorously grab, grope, and play with Dixon's buttocks in a sexual manner. Dixon was naked, stunned, and seized by tremendous fear. Dixon started to tell Perry that he did not want his underwear down and that Dixon did not want to be naked. Studio. I think we got too hot over here. Mic check, 1, 2, 3. StreamYard was like enough. StreamYard was like enough. Let's do a mic check. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. It seemed like StreamYard kicked me out for a few seconds. I am back. Let's pick up where we left off, and then I am going to probably wrap it up. It is good. It's very salacious. Very, very detailed. All right, let's get back to where we left off. Hold on. Oh, y'all, this is I think this may be a trigger warning. I'm going to count down to give you all a little bit of time to leave if you would like to. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Dixon was naked, stunned, and seized by tremendous fear. Dixon started to tell Perry that he did not want his underwear down, that Dixon did not want to be naked, and that Dixon didn't want this. Dixon quickly reached to pull his underwear back up. As soon as he did, Perry grabbed Dixon's reaching arm with a tight grip and held fast. Tyler Perry told Derek Dixon to relax and, quote unquote, just let it happen. And that Perry, quote unquote, wasn't going to hurt Dixon. Perry continued to sexually grope Derek's buttocks. Dixon's anxiety rapidly escalated, thinking that he may soon be raped. Dixon was not sure what to do, and his breath shortened. Perry ignored Dixon's refusals and held Dixon's hand fast, preventing him from reaching for his underwear. Dixon was naked and being groped by a large, drunk, and sexually frustrated 6'5" man who had Dixon in his clutches. Dixon did not know if he was going to have to get into a physical fight, but he knew that any efforts to fight back were hopeless. Perry had armed security at his gate, was much larger than Dixon, and told Dixon that he had several guns in his home. Dixon was desperate for a way out and remarked that he couldn't do anything sexual because he was so hungry, attempting to change the conversation. Dixon asked, "Is there any food up here?" which prompted Perry to withdraw and order a pizza. Dixon, in fear of his safety, followed Perry into the main house to eat pizza. Afterwards, Dixon returned to the guest house and, unable to lock the bedroom door, locked himself in the guest house bathroom and slept on the floor. Dixon then attempted to contact some friends about the incident. Whoa. They're saying these men, wow, that they make it in these guest houses, you can't even lock the door. Whoa. Whoa. That's very detailed information. Very detailed information. Because if they do a raid on his home, all they have to do is check the ability and or inability to lock the doors, right? And even if Tyler Perry installs locks, they're going to trace everything you do if you pay with a credit card and if you don't pay by cash, because they can trace if you added locks to your doors since this lawsuit dropped 6 days ago, 3 days ago. Oh, child, let's continue. The following morning, Dixon realized that he had left his car keys in the main house and I made a mistake. Hold on. Dixon then attempted to contact some close friends about the incident. The following morning, he realized, damn, I left my keys in the main house, and upon going to retrieve them, he encountered Tyler Perry. Perry told Dixon that last night's incident was why they shouldn't drink together. See, that's why we shouldn't drink together. And that the previous night's incident shouldn't have happened. Dixon responded saying, "Oh, so that was my fault?" To which Perry replied, No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that shouldn't have happened and I drank too much. Attempting to excuse himself from grabbing Dixon's butt, groping Dixon, attempting to have sex with Dixon against his will. At this point, do you feel like Tyler Perry tried to grape Dixon? For those of you in the chat, do you feel that this was an attempted sexual assault? All right. Lenny said, no doubt. Lenny Pena said, no doubt. That's a lot. Let's continue. So he said, Dixon left Tyler Perry's home uncontrollably shaking and contacted his close friends to discuss the unspeakable horror from the night before. For the next several days until June 6, 2021, Perry texted and called Dixon incessantly, with messages asking Dixon to call him or answer his calls. Finally, Dixon answered, at which point Perry began to apologize, blaming the testosterone supplements he was taking at the time. Perry had confided in Dixon that these supplements in the past, he confided in past messages about these supplements and decided to use them as a scapegoat for his actions. Dixon emphasized that he was not okay with what happened and that he had never asked Mr. Perry for anything, to which Perry replied, I know. That's why I like you. Woo! That's why I like you, because you've never asked me for anything. Hold on, let me see. And then they have inserted in this court documents evidence of Tyler Perry speaking to taking testosterone supplements. Okay. Dixon responded that he would not board. Oh, okay, here we go. I skipped something. Perry further attempted to rectify his misconduct by inviting Dixon on a yacht trip and telling Dixon that Perry was for sure going to make Dixon's pilot. Dixon realized that Perry was offering to make losing it to effectively silence Dixon. Perry sent a text message trying to arrange for Dixon to come on his yacht with another person so that Dixon would feel more comfortable. Dixon responded that he would not board the yacht and refused Perry's invitation. After Dixon refused to go on the yacht, Perry did not text Dixon for 5 months. All right. Sensing that Dixon was upset, Perry called Dixon once to update him that Perry was looking for a director for the pilot. During this 5-month period, Dixon was regularly in therapy. He suffered from severe depression, anxiety, stomach pains, nausea, resulting in a new prescription for another antidepressant. Dixon was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, and his therapist recommended that he seek outpatient treatment, costing upwards of $20,000, a price, according to this court document, that was too high for Mr. Dixon at the time. During that time, Dixon began speaking with people about the sexual assault and was assessing his rights. As soon as Perry realized that Dixon was done talking to him, Dixon got a message from Perry's quote-unquote fixers. Perry's fixers contacted Dixon, indicating that Dixon's character in the Oval would be returning with a new storyline the next season, and Dixon was receiving a graduated raise from $10,000 per episode to $16,000 per episode that would continue to increase to upwards of $19,000 per episode over the coming seasons. The attorney said that Christmas came early for Dixon because he was doing such a good job on the Oval. However, they also told Dixon that he was boldly, in bold letters, forbidden from letting his castmates know about the raise because nobody else would be receiving a similar pay increase. Lastly, the fixers told Dixon that Perry wanted to buy the right to produce the pilot of Losing It and planned to spend up to $1 million producing the pilot. Dixon immediately knew he was getting this raise, knew why he was getting a raise and why the pilot was being produced. He knew he could keep the money in the job or complain about the sexual, but not both. So at this point, what he's saying is, I knew I had to make a decision. I can't yell sexual harassment and take the money. Dixon claims in his lawsuit the situation presented a challenging decision that left him unable to take any action. So he made no decision. Let me tell y'all something. Brilliant. Effing brilliant. If you don't know what to do, write this down. Don't do nothing. Brilliant. I swear, this has nothing to do with sexual assault. This is wisdom talking to you. If you don't know what to do, if you're ever faced with a hard decision, do nothing. Do nothing. That is absolutely brilliant. Just Saul said, stay still. It's in the Bible. Man, this is a good ass lawsuit. So let's continue. I was going to leave. He said he did nothing. He just sat still. He started to consider, y'all. He said, listen, I considered everything. The prospect of the sexual assault, the harassment, if it becomes public, I would have to deal with highly paid attorneys. They're going to make me out to be this and that. Tyler Perry has significant resources. I ain't got nothing. My goal of working as an actor and being discovered, ain't nobody going to give me no job. Period. Just based on GP. In what was an extremely difficult decision, Dixon bowed to the pressure later in fear of losing his livelihood and hopes of advancing his career. Dixon decided to return to the set and have his pilot produced. He insisted, however, and decided to put safeguards in place between himself and Perry. In or around November 2021, Dixon returned to the Oval. It was then when he saw Perry for the first time in person since June 2021. Since the June 2021 sexual assault. So we're talking June, July, August, September, October, November, 5 months later, right? Dixon suffered a panic attack in his trailer, prompting another actor to calm him down. Guess what? If he says that, if that actor can testify to validate that argument, here's another claim against Tyler. You know, this is a witness that can say, yes, that happened. Seeing that Dixon was still upset, Perry knew that he had to up the ante to ensure Dixon's silence. Perry began periodically texting the plaintiff regarding the production of the pilot of Losing It to string Dixon along. Soon after, Dixon received a call from a member of Perry's production team telling him that they were considering shooting Dixon's pilot in the coming fall of 2021. Derek Dixon admitted in this court document that he was desperate for this good news, given the uncertainty surrounding his finances and concern about his future. In March of 2022, he signed the literally Oh, he signed, listen, the literally purchase agreement for the pilot, given the rights for the series to defendant Tyler Perry. Dixon was unaware of TPS's pre-existing television contracts with Viacom CBS, now known as Paramount Global, which would later prevent the sale of Dixon's show to any other media outlets or streaming services for 2 years. On or around March 21, 2022, shortly after seeing each other on the set of The Oval, Dixon and Perry began shooting the pilot. Perry called Dixon following the shoot, telling him that the show would net between $2 to $3 million per episode and run for the next 2 seasons, guaranteed. Perry purchased the rights to losing it from Dixon, but did not try to sell it to any other network. That's a move. Didn't sell it to nobody. I'm going to just buy it from you. Damn. In fact, Perry was under contract with Viacom CBS, preventing him from selling Dixon's show for 2 years following the purchase. In other words, Perry spent money shooting a pilot for a show and then purchasing the rights to it, knowing that Perry could not sell the show for 2 years. Clearly, this was done for the ulterior motive of silencing Mr. Dixon. Probably. But you struck back. You struck back. As it turns out, Perry had no intention of ever producing losing it. Child, Ray Charles could have told you that. Okay? Perry was only using the show as a quid pro quo to Dixon, holding its production over Dixon's head like the sword of the Damocles. On or about April 9, 2022, to his surprise, the plaintiff received a script for another season of The Oval, in which plaintiff's character, originally written as a grocery store clerk, would play a male prostitute being pursued by a pimp. This character's scenes and stories shared eerie similarities between Perry's pursuit of Dixon. Did I not just tell y'all that Tyler Perry was scripting this boy as he saw him in real life? Okay. Let me see. As Dixon continued to read through his scripts, he started to notice that Perry included lines taken directly from things that Perry and Dixon spoke about. Tyler Perry was implementing psychological warfare on him. Perry started to base the script on real life and made it personal. For example, Perry wrote about Dixon that, quote unquote, I don't like none of my bitches running around. He was making good money for me. That was one of the lines. In or around April 22, before beginning to shoot the next season of The Oval, Perry called Dixon to discuss the June 2021 sexual assault. On the phone, Perry lectured Dixon about Dixon was overreacting to the sexual assault because of prior sexual assaults in Dixon's life. So it seems like in both Tyler Perry and Derek Dixon's past, they both have been sexually assaulted, and probably as little boys or young men. Tyler Perry said that it was just a misunderstanding and a miscommunication, and that Derek needed to say no stronger. So in other words, in the court document, they're saying that Tyler Perry blamed Derek for the sexual assault because he said that your no was not strong and your no was really a yes, and that you did not say no strongly enough. Derek, they say, as to not jeopardize his employment, Derek dismissed the conversation. After filming on October 28th, after filming a full season of The Oval, Tyler Perry told Derek Dixon that despite shooting the pilot, it could take a while to place, and that Perry couldn't do any other television series until his deal was up with Viacom, which would take about 2 years. We know in January of 2023, Derek decided to move to Santa Monica. For those of you that are just joining us, the reason why Derek decided to move to Santa Monica, because there was not a run out of the statute of limitations. And also that's where Tyler Perry was doing business under his LLC. Although his physical studio was based in Atlanta, his paperwork came out of California. And in order to sue in California, you must be established as a resident for at least 2 years or longer. When Derek hit the 2.5-year mark, which was June 16th, 3 days ago, he dropped this lawsuit. So I'm just giving y'all this in a nutshell. Hold on. Let's see. So we know that while he was in California. Tyler Perry continued to communicate with him, send him sexually explicit text messages. In December of 2023, Christian Keys. Ooh, this is where y'all were talking about it. Okay, let me back up. Hold on. Perry, I'm on paragraph number 179. Perry again told Dixon that Perry wants a partner with whom he could have an emotional and sexual relationship, but who also goes back to their partner at the end of the day. In 2023 of December, Christian Keys, another actor who worked for Perry prior to Dixon's employment, posted a video on social media platforms detailing his abusive experience with the anonymous Black Hollywood billionaire, which Dixon pieced together and believes to be Tyler Perry. And we did that over here too. We actually pulled up a list of billionaires because it changes annually. Let me tell y'all, there's a financial report that comes out every year. Over here in the palace, we pulled out the billionaires listed in 2023, not 24, not 25. And we did it by a process of elimination that were directly related to media and entertainment. And it only left two, either Jay-Z or Tyler Perry. It made more sense for it to be Tyler Perry and not Jay-Z. All right. So we do our work over here. Let's continue. That's how we knew it was Tyler Perry. Dixon heard Mr. Keys' account and saw that Perry had been engaging in the same sexual conduct as other actors. Just like the interactions described by Keys, Perry would get drunk, climb into Dixon's bed, and start fondling Dixon's buttocks. Dixon wanted to share his experience with the media to prevent other actors from being abused at the hands of Perry. When we initially started reading this lawsuit today, we were able to quickly identify there were strong similarities between Christian Keys and Derek Dixon's stories, okay? And they happen at two separate times, y'all. Around this time, Perry called Dixon, indicating that he really wanted to find a home for Dixon's television series, again perpetuating the quid pro quo after the sexual assault to keep Dixon and his claims at bay. Does that make sense to you? If Christian Keys came out, and if I'm guilty of trying to sleep with these men, would not call the most recent one and say, hey, listen, I'm really shopping around this pilot. You know, we good. I ain't forgot about you. Then, in January of 2024, Perry told Dixon to begin working on a pitch deck for investors for the pilot. Despite having 8 episodes written, Perry only produced one, claiming that the president of his company, Michelle Sneed, conveniently misplaced the $1 million that were going to be used for the show. During this time, Perry further solicited Dixon's assistance with other films and projects that Tyler Perry was working on. Once again, Dixon was in a position where he could not say no. So what this tells me is when Christian Keys dropped whatever he dropped in December, I strongly believe that Tyler Perry quickly made it go away. He pulled a Diddy, but he pulled it under the table. Christian got something, but he probably ain't going to get as much as Derek is going to get. Does that make sense, y'all? And that's why Tyler, you can see Tyler's Perry, according to this court document, you can see his demeanor change after a month. He went from being concerned, I want to find you a house for the pilot, to not so much now, because he made that problem go away. Thank you. Lies More Lies says bingo. New Eyes says yes. Making sure y'all are with me. Then in January 2024, Perry told, okay, we got that. In or around March of 2024, Tyler Perry indicated to Derek Dixon that the individual who was meant to pitch the pilot became depressed and could no longer pitch the show. This was another excuse for the fact that Tyler Perry never liked the show and never intended to sell it. Dixon did not get angry and allowed Perry more time to figure things out for the show. Mistakenly, sensing that Dixon had forgiven him, Tyler Perry started back up with the sexual harassment, y'all. He continued to harass this boy who was still working on the Oval, and who was still waiting for him to sell the pilot, losing it. Later, Perry told Dixon that Netflix turned down the show. Dixon was never contacted by any individuals from Netflix regarding the show. Now, if I was his attorney, I would say, show me the communication. See, Tyler Perry has implicated himself. So if Netflix turned down the show, there would have to be a communication between you and Netflix. And if there is no proof of communication, that is going to, that's going to be your nail in the coffin. That's going to really solidify the fact that you were sexually harassing this man. Your Royal Highness, says Queen, I asked a question earlier. Is it possible for a victim of sexual assault can suffer from personality disorder? Absolutely. Yep. Yes, ma'am. It was only then that Derek woke up and realized that Tyler Perry was never going to be serious about helping him. All right, let's go. Rather than continue down this path, Derek took the heroic step of reporting the sexual harassment to the EEOC. After reporting the sexual harassment, defendants did not make any investigation into the complaint and did not take any steps to prevent further harassment from occurring. Because defendants took no action to prevent, he's talking about the networks. Oprah. He's talking about you. After EEOC notified you, Oprah, you did not do anything to create psychological safety, a safe environment. And the defendants took no action to prevent further assault or harassment. Derek had to quit his job working on the last season of The Oval. Dixon did so even though he was under contract to finish filming and stood to make close to $400,000. Dixon did not want to be sexually harassed or placed in danger of sexual assault again. Defendant then retaliated against Dixon. Defendant told Dixon that if he quit and told the other actors why he quit, he would be in a breach of his contract. Tyler Perry told Derek Dixon the only way out was to portray his departure from the show as a medical leave due to emotional distress caused by sexual harassment. The leave of absence was to be paid as medical leave. Instead, the defendant made the leave of absence unpaid and therefore terminated the plaintiff's employment, causing Dixon additional loss of income. Now you done got too goddamn bold for my taste. If you know you was back there doing this to these men, at least pay them paid medical leave. You get what I'm saying? Because when you thought you could F them, you bought them a car. You was paying for the rent. At least that's how they get in trouble, y'all. Yeah, that's retaliate. Now you won't even get them. At least make good. Medical leave, that wouldn't have cost you nothing. You know what I mean? You only have to pay 60% of his salary, but okay. Now you're looking at $260 million. And I guarantee you, the court is going to give him a huge sum. He walking up out of here with at least 50. Trust me, at least 50. So then they run down real quick the first cause of action, quid pro sexual harassment. I'm not going to read all of that. Then they run down the second cause of action, the workplace environment. They ran down the third cause of action, sexual harassment in defined relationship, the Ralph Act. They quoted the Ralph Act. Then they ran down the fourth cause of action, workplace gender violence. That's true, because you're recruiting men. Why would it be a gender bias? Gender harassment, because you are trying to force men to have sex with you. Okay? Under the condition of being gainfully employed. Then they ran down the fifth cause of action, violation of the Bain Act and violation of California Civic Code 52.1. Then they ran down the sixth cause of action, the Civil Code sexual battery. Then they run down the seventh cause of action, sexual assault. The eighth cause of action, I think we got 11, negligent hiring, supervision, or retention of an employee. That's with any and all networks, CBS, Viacom, Oprah Winfrey Network, anybody he was doing business with. Once that EEOC claim came down and notified you that Tyler Perry had been mentioned in a sexual harassment case, you should have done everything legally to make sure Derek was safe, including getting his paid medical leave. And because you didn't, you're now being named in the lawsuit as negligent hiring. Then they ran down the ninth cause of action, intentional infliction of emotional distress. Then they ran down the 10th cause of action, retaliation. When you fired him and told him he's not going to get his $400,000 for his role in season 7 of The Oval, and you did not pay him as you originally agreed for paid medical leave to give him time to get on his feet, you shot yourself in the foot. Prayer for relief. The plaintiff prays for judgment as follows: for special general punitive and compensatory damages according to proof at trial for reasonable attorney fees, expert witness fees, and other litigation expenses pursuant to law for injunctive relief where the court deems appropriate, for all other relief the court deems appropriate and just, for a total amount of damage, including punitive damages of $260 million. Respectfully submitted June 13th, 2025. It's happening. Let me tell you why. Look up the law offices of Jonathan J. Delshad. Watch this. If it is what I think it is. Hold on. Do y'all know who runs the media and television industry? Who sits at the top? Do you know how the food chains are established? Do you know who runs stuff in Hollywood? Who are the decision maker? Who owns the networks? Who? I'm just asking a question. Watch this. Let me see this guy. Hold on. I'm going to see if y'all can pick up what I'm putting down without me having to say it. Yep. Thank you. All right. That's all we need to know. Danny put it. Thank you. All right. He gonna get some money. Thank you, Lenny. Oh, he finna get some money. Because let me tell you something. The Jews don't really like us anyway. If they've been trying to get rid of your black ass, now is the time. He gonna get some money. That's it. That's all. Thank you for hanging out with me today. I am Queen Sheba, y'all. We ran it down. 2 hours and 18 minutes. Woo. Any questions from anybody? I can give 5 more minutes. 5 minutes. Thank you. Let's see. The Innocent Instigator. Thank you for the $5 super chat. So this explains why the girl still pregnant 4 years later on Sisters. Tyler, busy with the wrong things. Listen. Sean coming through with a 10-piece super sticker says, writing that part is going to come back to haunt Tyler later on. This is going to be serious charges in the future. Tyler just told on himself. Softy, 58. 5-piece super sticker says he was a gay guy and blackmailed by a gay cop on the show. But watch this. So what I'm learning is there's no such thing as deleting. If the government takes this case on, and what I've learned from being in the courtroom and sitting on from being in the Diddy case, you know how they thought they destroyed that tape, that video of Cassie in the Intercontinental Hotel? Well, it's no such thing. They had a forensic audio, visual, and digital expert to testify. Even when you think you delete video footage, it goes into this place called Never Neverland, aka a cloud. Do you not know they can still go get it? So here's the thing, Tyler, you are screwed. You are cooked one way or the other, because if they have video footage of your home and your compound of him coming in and out of your house on numerous occasions as an employee, you gonna pay. You cannot delete footage. They're going to get it anyway. Shan, thank you for the 10-piece super sticker. She says, oh my God, the studio is a front for his trafficking. Boom. That's why Derek is suing the studio. Yes, ma'am. And it seems like the recruiter is his friend named Tony Conway. Be careful with the jobs that y'all apply for. Okay. Now, Mom to Minnie, thank you for the $50 super sticker. It says intelligence, professionalism, and class on YouTube. Who knew? And where do I sign up? Well, thank you. We're glad you're over here. Sonia Davis, thank you for the $2 super sticker. Shan, thank you for the $2 super chat. She says, so now it's blackmail. Another charge. SM Minister, the Notary Republic. The Notary Public. Thank you. Oh, SM Mentor gifted 5 Queen Sheba dollar memberships. Welcome to the palace, y'all. Sean, thank you for the additional $10 super chat. Dixon went to a doctor and got a paper trail. Much smarter than Christian. Dixon may not be a good actor, but he's not a dummy. Of course not. Of course not. He said less. He did less. And he started to document. Sonia Davis, thank you for the $2 super sticker. Thank you. We appreciate everybody. Man, this is a lot. He's cooked. He's cooked. It's just too many details. It's too much evidence. It's very, very, it's very bad behavior. It's very bad behavior. Thank you, Silly A. Say a really great live. Girl, what's the T said? Is it a RICO? It depends on. So here's the problem. It could be, because how long has Tony Conway been recruiting innocent men by way of live events? Let me go back. Live events, right? You signing up as a man, you down on your luck, but you're a good looking man. Because I'm sure there's some qualifications. Remember Tyler Perry said, don't tell nobody that Tony sent you to me? Yeah, it could be a RICO. Yeah. Because how long has this operation been going on? How many people would come forward and say, Tony recruited me, Tony hired me, Tony sent me to Tyler Perry parties. I was at Tyler Perry parties under the guise of I'm supposed to be event staff. And then before you know it, Tyler Perry was trying to hump me. Tyler Perry was trying to grape me. Tyler Perry was trying to pull my drawers down. Tyler Perry was trying to grab my booty. And then by this time, I got fired because I wouldn't sleep with Tyler Perry. I told him, nah, man, I ain't like that. Yes, absolutely could be a RICO. Thank you, Joy O, for a $10 super sticker. You think Tony set Tyler up? Why? I think Tyler, I don't know, because Tyler said, he took Derek from Tony. So it seems like there's, I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about it. I don't know. Let me think about it. Okay, Pageant Mama say, I don't think it's a RICO as written. Yes, it is. Okay, yes, it is. I think it's a RICO. You have to establish enterprise. We got Tony at live events. We got Tyler Perry Studios. We got all of these different networks that they're working for under the, I don't know. What y'all think? What y'all think? Sheba said, imagine if the government picks it up. Well, that depends on his level of arrogance. He better make it go away because he hasn't filed criminal charges. It's just a civil suit. You better do something, and you better do it quick. But that's how Diddy got to where he got, because he paid who? Cassie. And once the other women saw that Cassie got something, everybody else came out, which is how the government became involved. Baby, it's a catch-22. It's not a good thing. Listen, more lies to the black ones not going to come forward because they're probably quote unquote straight. You get what I'm saying? Oh, it's a lot. Anywho, that's all. We're done. Well, Traveling G-Moss says more lawsuits loading. Not yet. Not yet. He's cooked one way or the other. If he pays it out, here they come. If he don't pay it out, here they come. Should he pay it out? Bribery. Giving him a raise to not tell. If Derek has proof that Tyler is saying don't tell, and he does. And if that attorney, so he has proof of Tyler saying don't tell nobody about our relationship. That's the onset of bribery. And then if shortly after that attorney called, I'm going to say between 90 days, between that text communication, and said, congratulations, you got a raise. Don't tell nobody. Boom. Yep. You bribed him. You bribed him not to tell what you did to him. Miss Blackberry, thank you. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Says great commentary. Absolutely. It's my pleasure. Thank you, everybody. The luxury bucket list says this is a payday for Derek. Nothing more. Could be. Thank you, Mary. You did the thing, Queen Sheba. Thank you. It is a civil case. That's what I'm saying. It is. I said he hasn't gone criminal. You're right. I said right now, he didn't even go criminal. So the best thing is to go ahead and pay it. But that also opens up the door for more men to come through. He's probably going to do what he did to Christian under the table. Yep. Sheba Baby said, that's correct. Queen Sheba, shortly after Cassie got her money, the government came through. Because you know why? Everybody, the rule is to follow the money trail. That's a large sum of money the government wants in. That's why he paid Christian Keys under the table. Yep. I wonder too, Jess. I think he did. Jess said, I wonder if he got raped. I think he did. But, you know, men have dignity about themselves. They may say, I'm asking that unless you need to, please don't put that in the lawsuit. I want to stop here. I don't want to give that many details. You know, he's, you know, okay, talk that Missy. Says, nope, I'll take it to trial. Then they're going to bleed you dry no matter what. So you want to give it to him or you want to give it to the government? I don't know. Vanessa said it's bride. This case establishes bride, fraud, and coercion. Yep, Mosho, absolutely. Thank you, Ashita. Ashita Foster, thank you for the $20 super chat. Amazing live. Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you, everybody. Samantha Elvie says, y'all leave Taraji out of this. I'm gonna go. Everybody catching slugs today. Y'all leave Taraji out of this. This has nothing to do with her or being grateful for being paid properly for her work. I told y'all, hey, look, this opens up a larger conversation, but hopefully I did a good job to break it down for y'all. It makes sense and you're able to go host your own conversations. All right. I shall be watching. Christian still works for him. What? Well, then you already know what time it is. You already know what it is then. Judge Wood, thank you for the $2 super sticker. Says we have allowed the government to lower the bar for the RICO. Let me ask you something. Do we really have any influence though? Do we, the people, matter when those bills and those laws are being passed? That's my question for you, Judge. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. Damn, y'all. They knocking them off one by one, huh? Queen Sheba, will you go down to ATL to cover this case if it goes to court? I don't think it's going to go to court. I think it's going to be in 5, 4. Now, it's 3 days. He paid Cassie in 24 hours. Tyler, I don't know what the hell you think you're doing. Bro, study long, study wrong. Like playing dominoes. Study long, study wrong. Prince of Peace, thank you for the 5-piece. Wow, Tyler Perry diss. He better do something. You better not take too long. This should have been handled immediately. And maybe they're negotiating, right? We're asking let me do the math, 260 million. He may get a quarter of that. Let's do the math. Let's say 1% of that. I'm gonna start with 1%, 5%, and 10%. He may get 26 million if we're looking at 10% of that. If we're looking at 5% of that, we're talking about 15 million. 1% of that, we're talking about what? 1.2? 2.2? Either way, don't be greedy, Derek. Common Sense says, Queen, you are intelligently breaking down this animal behavior, and we love to hear from a professional in regards to addressing the mindset of these broken men's reality. Yep. It's my pleasure. I know, that's crazy. That's wild to me, especially like, just let it happen. Just being Jamie says, can you imagine hearing someone say to you, just let it happen? I know. And then not only that, I'm not going to hurt you. Fool, you trying to hurt me by talking? I said no. And the Christian, so they scrubbed the internet, right? The Christian videos were removed. But see, Christian, I was kind of disappointed in him because if you, at least Derek put it on pen and paper. Because his thing is, I'm suffering and I don't want this to happen to anybody. Here's my qualm with Christian. Christian came out and he stated in his video, I don't want this to happen to another innocent man. Then, bro, number one, name names. Number two, you wouldn't even tell us who. If you don't want it to happen to another man, you got to start naming names. So to me, I do believe Christian, had some stuff done to him or Tyler Perry tried to sleep with him, but at the same time, I think your video was a little bit more self-centered because you ain't helped nobody. You ain't helped nobody but yourself by accepting that settlement. Diana Franklin, thank you for the $2 super sticker. Yep. Thank you. Thank you, Jonesy. Jonesy for more said this was great. Absolutely. It's my pleasure. So let me go eat, y'all. Let me go eat. I'm going to let y'all hang out in the chat for a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and leave. Oh, you're disappointed? That's what you're trying to say in Tyler Perry? Somali Queen says she's in utter shock and disbelief. I'm not anymore. After sitting in that Diddy courthouse for weeks upon weeks, now I know anybody is capable of anything, period. Now that I know that, I'm like, okay, bet. Thank you, Noel Watson, for the $10 super sticker. Queen, would you consider going over the Lil Rod lawsuit? I want to hear. If somebody can send it to me, if somebody can send me the transcript, we can go over it. Yeah, I'll do it for y'all. The more work, the more time you save me, I'm more likely to help out. So if you can send it to me, I got you. But if I have to go chase it, that takes up a lot of time. Unfortunately, Diana Franklin, thank you. She gifted one Queen Sheba Darling membership to a lucky recipient. Thank you, the Luxury Bucket. I appreciate you. Let me see if there's anything else I missed. Looks like we're all caught up. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and welcome to the palace.
You all should be ashamed. How can you drink right after a funeral? Like this? Give me another one, then, Brady. Fred Sanford, you just left the house of the Lord, and now I'm in my house. All y'all ought to be ashamed drinking like a school of fish. My Bible says, be not drunk with wine. What does it say about scotch? Hey, listen, why'd you go someplace else? Why'd you go ugly up somebody else's house? Who you calling ugly, sucker? You.